Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
The second best pitching staff in baseball, only behind the team they're playing today. Tavares smokes his ball down the line and right and gone. Leody Tavares with an absolute firecracker. Mayo elevates the ball to deep left field. Veerling twisting back. It's going to go. Kobe Mayo continues the home run barrage. The second.
Courtesy of Masson last night, the Orioles finally get the offense going again, which was a nice change of pace. I'm in favor of that. Not in favor of returning to the every 2 out of 3 Cobb Radish. Don't love that part, but
But they won,
that's
so
who he is. It's
So he
kind
gets
of one of those things that you're dealing with. You're paying. Somebody asked me last week. Somebody whose opinion I respect said, "Is there any chance they could end up regretting the Bradish thing?" And I said, I don't think so, because that's just the cost of pitching.
right. I mean, like if he never pitches again, right? Like that would be.
Yeah, I mean that would obviously you'd regret it then. But I mean, like in a realistic world, even if Cobb Radish is not an ace, and like obviously he's not been an ace this year, he's pitched brilliantly frequently.
Maybe it'll be 3 really good starts and then a dud.
You make it 3 out of 4 instead of 2 out of 3?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be opposed
because
to
he
that.
did 3 really good starts leading up to.
But then there was the All-Star break was mixed in there.
Yeah, I know, but so what? So what are you saying?
I don't know
You're
how we
saying-
factor that in.
So you're saying you think it like reset the whole calendar?
Yeah, I do think it helped.
Okay.
Like I do think it did. I don't know what to make of that part of it. That part of it I cannot figure out. While Cobb Radish, he's so good, and then there's just like a fair amount of stinkers. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know that I ever will get it, frankly. But I still think you take it because he's so good frequently enough that I do believe it's worth the stinkers that you do get. Now, you don't pretend like you don't get them. Like when people argue with me about like Cobb Radish is as good as any pitcher in the American League. No, he's not.
He can be.
He's right. When he's at his best, yes. He's as good as anyone. But on the whole, no, there is no evidence of that. But that doesn't mean he isn't really good or that you don't want him around. The only problem, as I said to this person whose opinion, again, I respect, is if the Orioles have convinced themselves we don't need to worry about the top of the rotation, we've got the top of the rotation. That's the only problem that could come along with the Orioles in the contract they gave Cobb Radish. If they are treating him like they know they have a definitive number one, I mean, one, you still hope he ends up being that if that's the case. But 2, that's an issue because there is no evidence of that specifically. There's plenty of evidence that he's good or that you want to have him or any of those things, but not ace. Still, offense got going. That's what matters. Jackson Holliday's going up on the board. Griffin I guess, were you worried that we weren't going to be able to fill the board? Is that what happened here?
Well, we could.
And
you
so
probably could spread it around a
and
little
so
bit.
you just wanted to to make everybody picture a lot bigger in order to make sure.
Here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing is if you just hadn't said anything about it, nobody would notice.
Right, but I would.
Yeah,
that's
but
the thing.
I know, but
I don't know
who cares what you think?
Right, I know. I don't know if you've heard it. It's Glenn Clark Radio. And someone would say, "This is all we have." There is
this
no
board,
one else to
or
know.
oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's what I mean, no, people wouldn't notice.
So I had to trim.
He would have fit right in.
I had to
Oh,
trim
you
Jackson
trimmed him?
Holiday
You trimmed
a
him?
little bit. I did trim him a little bit.
I mean, look. I think Rico Garcia is bigger than he is. Size him up.
Now he is because I trimmed him.
Well, no. I mean, his face is their face is the face. Like,
what are you talking about? It's the actual. I'm talking about how much space on the board is it taking up?
so you don't care how big I thought you were talking about how big the actual head is. Well, like, look, Chris Bassett really looks really small.
Chris Bassett does look really small.
Tyler O'Neill actually looks really small too. I don't think people actually can't see him.
Now, you did that purposely though, because you.
Well,
hate
yeah, that's
Tyler
true.
O'Neill.
I wouldn't have. I would have just not put him on the board. Yeah. He did have that. His janitor throws are cool. I can admit that. Janitor throws. I'm a sucker for a good janitor throw.
Okay. There's Jackson Holiday.
He did hit a home run yesterday too. Yeah.
A lot of guys hit home runs. The offense looked good. You like that? They need much more of that.
Gonna have to do it again against another guy with a sub-2 ERA and a sub-1
who is
whip.
this guy?
Troy Melton.
Troy Melton. Yeah.
Is it Trey or Troy?
I think it's Troy, right? Isn't it?
I think it's Troy. Yeah.
I think it's Troy Melton. The hell? How are the Tigers this bad?
And then I think we get Skubal tomorrow. So
they definitely get Skubal tomorrow. It's Skubal and Rogers.
Ace on ace.
I guess dueling to see who people are going to spend the most for at the deadline. Orioles win. That's a good thing. The squirrel was fun. I can't lie. We were out at trivia last night, and everyone in the bar was soaking up the squirrel. The poor girl was trying to ask questions, and no one had any interest whatsoever in listening to the questions because everyone. You know what? Don't with all respect to the Masson one, I shared it last night. Jason Benetti calling it was Kevin Harlan-esque. And I don't say that lightly. Everybody knows Benetti's very good. Benetti's outstanding. If you go to my Twitter account, I did share it. Oh, you got it. Yeah, there it is. There you go. This is gold from I don't know what the Tigers TV, Tiger Vision, Sportsnet, Tiger Town. I don't know. April and the D. I don't know what it is, but this was phenomenal from Benetti.
The chase for the squirrel is on, and the squirrel is in the corner, and the squirrel is still eluding an entire horde of grounds crew members. And the squirrel's free once again. Hemmed in? No, I won't be hemmed in. I have freedom on my mind. Trying to go between the legs, and eventually he gets away again and hops through the towel and hops through another towel.
Well done. Well done, Jason Benetti. Well done. Awful lot of fun.
Detroit Sports Network.
Detroit Sports Network. Thank you. I know you love the D, so I know you would be on top of that. Sorry?
You're talking about somebody else?
No, the D. You love the D.
I mean,
the D.
The Detroit.
That's what they call Detroit, the D.
They do? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you love
the big D?
And you always say you love the D. Didn't you say you went up to the stadium?
I don't think I've ever been to Detroit. No?
No?
They weren't on the trip, no.
Fair enough. You went to every other stadium in baseball because apparently Griffin's working as a cam girl or something like that on the side and making money the I sure as hell don't have. Yeah.
You went to Africa.
You know how I went to Africa. It wasn't with my money. Sure as hell wasn't.
Why do you think I was staying domestic?
Anyway. That was fun.
Here's Leotis tossing the squirrel.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward. What are we doing, Leotis? Like what is exactly? He was asked about it afterwards, and I don't even remember. I think the answer was basically just like everybody was panicked. No one knew what to do in the moment.
45 groundskeepers.
My buddy Mark had his son with him at trivia last night, and he said at one point he was like, his son is a little bit older than my son, so his son's got to be 13 or 13, I think. His son said, "What are they going to do when we were watching the squirrel?" And I was like, I hope they just let him live there. I hope that it's just his place now. And then I realized like how distracting it had to be for the players and how like concerned they had to be. Well, what if I hit a line drive and
right?
Like you do not want
I mean, at one point it looked like it was like 15 feet behind Kobe Mayo, right? Like it was like.
By the way, the other thing that I'd be thinking about legitimately, and I would have been worried about in that moment. Hang on a second. beaver tested positive for rabies at Cunningham Falls that bit a kid this weekend. So I'd be a little bit. That's the reality. Anyway, this is weird bit going around. It was fun last night. I want to react to the Rosenthal thing. I do want to do that because a lot of people are reacting to that, and we got a lot of feedback about what Brad Brock had to say yesterday on the show. I want to react to the Rosenthal thing from Foul Territory. Ken Rosenthal, who's like a part of the Foul Territory show. I think he does his own show called Fair Territory as well, but Ken Rosenthal was on there yesterday discussing the Orioles. Now, this is before the Orioles won last night to climb even closer in the wild card picture, but here's what Ken Rosenthal had to say.
A team that can't seem to get out of its own way. Playoff odds at about 20%. It's a 1 in 5 chance. Swept the Astros in Houston coming out of the break, and you thought, okay, here we go. But every time you think here we go with the Orioles, they sputter again. They then dropped the series in Boston. Admittedly, the Red Sox are red hot. And then lost 2 of 3 at home to Atlanta this weekend. Both losses coming in extra innings. This is a team that right now is missing both of its catchers, Adley Rutschman and Samuel Basallo, 2 of their best players, and a team that hasn't played crisply the entire season. Now, their owner, David Rubenstein, came out last week, endorsed Mike Elias as president of baseball operations, said they still think they're going to make the playoffs. A lot of happy talk out of the Orioles. At some point, there has to be reality talk. At some point, the owner has to watch the games and watch what's going on. There are mistakes almost on a nightly basis. This team doesn't seem to know yet how to win, and maybe it never will. This group's been together for some time now. So that's been the case all season. I don't know that I expect them to sell because they're still in this thing, of course, like almost every other team in the American League. And Mike Elias is the equivalent of Dana Brown in Houston. He is a guy who you would think is under some scrutiny, even with what the owner keeps saying. That said, what's best for the organization might be to trade Trevor Rogers and Taylor Ward and go at it again next year.
There's a few things in there. Because what I would tell you is that largely where I am is probably where Ken is. My opinion is probably closest to Ken Rosenthal's opinion. And people get like offended by it or bothered by it. But the people that feel that way are the same people that complain the most about the Orioles. Like they complain all the time about the Orioles, and then when someone says, well, they should trade Trevor Rogers, and then turn around and say, what? I agree largely with Ken. Where I agree with him is that I don't think this team is very good. I've said that a few times. I don't think we can any longer. I had somebody earlier today because I made the comparison to 2022. Remember, a better Orioles team, a team with a better record in 2022 and a better recent trajectory, obviously, because they were red hot in July in 2022, traded away pieces. Didn't acquire, traded away pieces in 2022. The argument is it was best for the organization, right? Like you were chasing a dragon with that 2022 team. And I had someone today, and I don't remember who it was, but said, right, but I think the ceiling is higher for this team. To which I could say, in what world? I think that's what we thought coming into the year. And if there was any sign that Gunnar Henderson could be like Gunnar Henderson, then like maybe we could have that conversation. But right now, what the Orioles are is a team with a pitching staff better than we expected, but also with a massive innings problem that we're still not talking about. The thing when we say, hey, the pitching's not a problem, we're not addressing what if there's some world where they can get into the playoffs that they all have innings issues we're not dealing with. All of them that matter. I mean, unless you want your postseason rotation to, I guess, be like Bassett and Boz. But all of the guys that you care about have innings problems going towards a potential postseason. And that's the strength. Then they have Pete Alonso, who isn't even Pete Alonso-ist. He's just a good version, a very good version, a good to very good version of Pete Alonso. Not the best version of Pete Alonso. He's not going to hit 40 home runs.
He's playing Gold Glove defense.
Definitely the best defensive version of Pete Alonso. And someone who I think has been an overall better hitter than I maybe expected, like collecting more base hits than not. And I don't want to oversell that either. It's not like he's going to be a 300 hitter, although no one is.
Blaze Alexander.
That's true. But they do have Pete Alonso, and maybe Jackson Holiday is turning the corner. Maybe. I don't even know that yet. I just know that, he's been better. And obviously had 4 hits last night, which is why he's on the board. And when their catchers are healthy, you like their catchers, but they're kind of regularly not healthy. That's what they have. Their defense is dreadful, other than, their first baseman. And when Colton Cowser plays center field, he's obviously very good. But you don't want him playing every day because you can't justify him playing every day. You have to have him playing pretty close to every day because, again, you don't have anybody else who's a good defender in the outfield. But he's not a major league hitter. Your outfield is awful. I mean, it's awful. It's hard to explain how awful it is. What do you have? What is the ceiling for this team? The 2022 Orioles, to me, definitively a higher ceiling. Now, I get it. Their pitching was meh in 2022 on the whole. But if you could have acquired pitching at the deadline, if they could have been aggressive in 2022, I don't know. I don't think the Orioles are going to trade Trevor Rogers for a bunch of reasons that probably started laying the foundation of not being aggressive in 2022. Their lack of aggression in the past, I think, is coming back to bite them. And I do think they're going to overcompensate for it and try to chase this dragon. And whether that's because Mike Elias is actually on the hot seat or not, what Ken Rosenthal said is fair. We can all point out to what it is that David Rubenstein said, but there's not going to be a world where David Rubenstein, while Mike Elias is running the organization, is going to say, I just don't know about this guy. I don't know if he can do, I don't know. He might not be good enough. He's not going to say that. If there's a world where Mike Elias is on the hot seat and he cares and he wants to have the job, then yes, it would also make more sense. Unless David Rubenstein goes to him, as Ken Rosenthal is alluding to this week, and says, don't worry about your job. You're going to be here next year. Do the best thing for the organization. But then you deal with the gut punch that would be for the fan base. This is it's the damnedest thing where we all complain about the Orioles constantly, but then it would be a gut punch to realize it might just be over. It's a hell of a thing. I don't think the Orioles are going to trade Trevor Rogers. I do think Brad Brock is right. I think they should listen. And Trevor Rogers told you exactly what you knew beforehand this weekend. Now, he also said the Orioles haven't even made an offer. Now, if that's true, then that's disappointing. Now, what's the line between the Orioles know that Trevor Rogers won't talk about the contract during the year, which he says dates back to Miami, versus I don't know how to measure those two things. If they haven't even attempted, that seems shameful. But to be fair, 2 months ago, we didn't know if the Orioles wanted the Orioles to try to sign Trevor Rogers. He was starting to look a little bit more like 2024 Trevor Rogers. So all of a sudden, maybe in June, when he looks more like the better version, perhaps the Orioles, mentioned to his agent, hey, would you want to talk about this? And his agent says, don't bother. We're not doing that. And by the way, I appreciate and respect Trevor Rogers going out of his way to say how much he loves Baltimore while making it very clear, guys, I'm going to free agency. To be fair, we knew that. That's what guys do when they're this close. They go to free agency. They don't negotiate with one team, they negotiate with 10. I appreciate how he's handling it. I think it's very honorable how he's handling the uniqueness of this situation. That said, I do think the conversation should be had. And if there was a world where you could do the Rays thing, where you could both trade Trevor Rogers and acquire controllable starting pitching, rumors, I think Jim Bowden maybe said yesterday that Joe Ryan isn't on the table any longer. So I don't know who that is. If there was a world where you could do both things, I'd listen on both things. I don't think they're going to do it, but I do think it's quite possible that that will look like a mistake. That we will get to the end of the year, the Orioles will be a couple of games outside of a playoff spot, and Trevor Rogers will be a free agent. But I don't think they're going to do it. I do think that they're going to say that we're close enough that we've got to at least try. Now, how aggressive will they be? One, how many guys are actually available? Everybody's in the mix. There's only a couple of teams that stink. And part of the reason why they stink is they don't have many good players. There's a lot of teams aggressively pursuing a very small group of available helpful pieces, which is part of the reason why I wonder if you should be in the seller's market. Because I don't know how many Trevor Rogers there are that are going to be available. And your Trevor Rogers might be able to get you a massive amount because of how well he's pitched for the last couple of months. But I don't think, my gut tells me they won't do that. Let's talk more about it. Joining us now, he, of course, covers Major League Baseball for USA Today. He is our friend Bob Nightengale, and he was back with us here on GCR. Bob, it's Glenn back in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you as always. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Sure, my pleasure. Thanks, Don.
You have a gut. My gut tells me that while I think the Orioles should consider not even selling as much as like doing the Rays thing where you try to both buy and sell, where you try to maximize your roster and maybe you trade Trevor Rogers, but you also try to acquire some pitching that maybe you have control of. What does your gut tell you at this point about what the Orioles are going to do between now and Monday?
I think they're going to stay relatively pat and believe that they still have enough to make the playoffs. I mean, the American League is, let's be honest, hasn't been this weak in decades. So, there's so many teams, but 24 teams now that are within 5 games of a playoff spot. And, we saw what happened last year with Cleveland and Detroit, where Detroit just took a nosedive and lost the division. In Cleveland, they traded Shane Bieber and still made the playoffs when they came back from the dead. We're seeing what Boston's doing. So I think teams look at this, including the Orioles, and say, well, you know what? We still believe in this team. Let's go after it.
They have a lot of holes. If they are going to be a relevant, not to your point, yes, everybody's in it, and maybe you could sneak in, but to be a team that could actually do something in the playoffs, they've got a lot of issues. They've got a lot of bullpen problems. Their outfield is a giant zero at the moment. Can they be aggressive the other way? Are there enough pieces available to even justify trying to really try to address some of these holes? What really is available on the market right now?
Well, yeah, there isn't that much. I mean, Tarek Skubal will be. I mean, the Tigers are making that easy, losing 3 in a row here, 6 games below 500. There's not. They do have young position players, and obviously the Seattle Mariners have starters, so you could do a deal like that, just like we saw with the Nationals and the Boston Red Sox, where you're trading away pieces while still going for it. So Baltimore could do something like that. Because Seattle needs a bat, and they got pitching to spare.
I don't think they're going to be in the Skubal market, and really the argument is that like the Orioles, their issue isn't necessarily their starting pitching, with the caveat being that the guys that are pitching well all kind of have innings problems that you're going to have to deal with at some point. Bob, I guess my broader question is like, what is the deadline really going to look like? I just alluded to There's only a few teams that are definitively out of it, and they don't really have a whole lot of desirable parts. What is the next week going to look like? How explosive is the deadline actually going to be?
Well, I mean, Scooble certainly helps it. And without Scooble, I think it'd be a very dull deadline. I think there's going to be a lot of, smaller moving parts, but not big names. I think it'll be, more dull in general. I think we had like 63 trades last year. It was wild, but, not like household names. But you're absolutely right. I mean, this is a year, if you're going to have a bad year, this is a year you want to stink because it's such a seller's market and you're going to get a ton for guys who aren't that good. So, yeah, I remember everybody's kind of in the same boat, particularly the American League. It's different than National League. Are you really going to go all in to be a third wild card team so you get your brains beat in by the Dodgers or Phillies or Atlanta? You're not. But the American League, there's not a powerful team there. You can be like Texas Rangers a few years ago. You just get in the dance and you can be the last one standing.
I just alluded to my theory that based on what you just said, Bob, like I think that if you were to shop Trevor Rogers, there would be a heck of a market for him considering how well he's pitched for the last couple of months and the lack of, other than that, not everyone can get Scooble, right? Only one team can, and everybody always wants pitching. I think that you're right. I don't think they're gonna do it, but what might the market look like? Is there a chance? You could make him a qualifying offer at the end of the year, but I would think that there's the potential that if you did put him on the market, the returns could be far more significant than that.
No, I agree. The return would be better than a draft pick for sure. But then it's like, okay, if the Orioles, what are you doing here? I mean, they got a ton of prospects. At some time, you got to win. Who cares how many prospects you have? Win at the major league level. This window's closing faster than they thought. I mean, when they won, 101 games a few years ago, won the division, made the playoffs the next year.
Right.
There's no way they should be sitting out 2 years in a row. What are prospects doing? They're helping you at the major league level unless they're playing the big leagues. So I think that the fans too would be disgusted, and certainly the players, like, are we trying to win here or not? You only got 40 guys on a 40-man roster. You got to trade away some of these prospects at some
Bob,
point.
I 100% hear you, and a lot has been made. We don't even know if there's going to be a Rule 5 draft this year, but like you don't have enough spots in your 40-man for all the guys that would need to be on the 40-man next year. And I do think ultimately that they'll try to make trades because of it. But I keep coming back to kind of saying, but the comparison to the Rangers, can this Orioles team do that? Could they do that? I just don't see it with this group.
But you look around the American League. I mean, does anybody scare you? Nobody.
I
mean, Yankees are completely flawed. I mean, who knows if Aaron Judge even comes back? They don't scare you.
I mean, 100%. The team that scares me is Boston. Like right now, I would say.
Yeah, right. I went through there. Boston could, and they were dead and buried. Yeah. I mean, they were ready to sell off. And but what Boston's doing, it shows you how easy that can happen to Baltimore and anybody else too.
Man, I love that you're optimism that you're expressing, Bob, and I want to believe you're right. Boy, it would require suddenly Gunnar Henderson waking up and being Gunnar Henderson again. Like it would have to start with that being there's no path forward for the Orioles that doesn't involve Gunnar Henderson suddenly being the guy that he was supposed to be coming into the year. Bob, how much do you feel like, I just alluded to, is there going to be a Rule 5 draft? How much have you sensed that the uncertainty of the offseason, of the work stoppage, and whether there's even going to be a next year, how much do you believe that factors in for not just the Orioles, but everyone around baseball right now?
Well, I think it pumps the brakes a little bit on teams. They're going to turn around and trade your top prospects, in the sense where if there's a salary cap, there's going to be nothing more valuable than young guys not making any money, because you need to squeeze those guys in. So I think that's the only thing. I do believe there'll be a season next year at some point. I'm not saying 162, but at least 140, 130, something like that. But it's going to require some missed paychecks for people to see who blinks first. But I think those guys are the valuable pieces where it may be tougher to get a top draft picks or top prospects. a lot of GMs hide behind the prospects, like you can tell their fan base, hey, look at our farm system. But, hey, you want to be, on the cover of Sports Illustrated, you'll be the cover of Baseball America. You want to have a parade or not. The Orioles have always had a ton of prospects over these years. You gotta use them to go get help. And that's what the Houston Astros did when Mike Elias was with Houston.
I'm with you.
They went and you got Garrett Cole. They got Justin Verlander. At some point you got to make the big moves.
Bob, is there an outfield bat? Like, it's funny because I keep seeing like Luis Roberts' name being passed around, and I'm like, that's what the Orioles have. The Orioles have a bunch of guys that aren't very good that they had hoped were going to be good. Why would they want another one of those guys? Is there like there are people that are telling me that Taylor Ward might be the best outfield bat that you could acquire, and the Orioles have that right now. Is there an outfield bat? I mean, the Orioles outfield is awful. I mean, it's stunning how awful the Orioles outfield is, and it speaks to maybe what you're alluding to, which is they've held on to their prospects, hoping that they would become things, and they just haven't. Obviously, is there a difference-making outfield bat that can be had if the Orioles are really going to go for this?
There really isn't. I mean, you could be creative with Pittsburgh for like O'Neal Cruz, but why would the Pirates be trading him unless they, believe he's never going to live up to his potential? That sort of thing. There's a couple bats like, Mickey Moniak is playing well, for the Rockies, and so is Jake McCarthy, but not, like you're saying, not that big impact bat. I mean, could you talk the Dodgers into trading Teoscar Hernandez? That's possible, but then you're thinking, okay, well, the Dodgers know that we don't. Why are they willing to dump a guy like this?
By the way, I would be interested in Moniak specifically, right? Like, and now somebody would say
he's available. Yeah,
I would specifically be interested in Moniak, and I would assume like because he's got another year that it's going to cost you something, but I wouldn't think that it would be overwhelming, would it?
No, not at all. You just bounce around, and he's finally having a breakout season. Then he got hurt, so no, it wouldn't cost much at all in terms of prospects. And that's what the Rockies are doing. It's one thing for the Rockies to try to get as many prospects and build that system up, but the Orioles already have that. They don't need more prospects.
It's so, Bob, I know what you're saying. Like, the conversation really comes down to me. It's when I say I don't think that they should sell for the sake of selling. I really do think they should try to channel what the Rays were once upon a time. And Mike Elias the other day said, well, we just kind of want to be good all the time. Like, at some point, I think that requires I've been using this phrase roster maxing, which I hate. It's such a young person term. But, like, I do think you have to maximize your roster at some point. And I get the argument with Rodgers that, like, boy, why would you trade away and I don't know that this team can do a lot. And if he's not willing to sign, can you use what you get from Rodgers to go get the guy that replaces him next year if you're not signing Trevor Rogers, right? Like, that's sort of can you do what the Rays are always so good at, which is, trading away Shane Baz for 4 prospects and then being able to replace him with another 17 more pitchers and constantly being able to do this on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, they went and got Nick Martinez, who worked out perfect. I think it only cost them $10 or $12 million. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, the Orioles are not going to be in the Scuba sweepstakes. They're not going to pay $400 million for him. So, where's the next Trevor Rogers? You might as well just keep the guy you have. I mean, if you wanted to, you could sell him off and then re-sign him as a free agent, like the Yankees did with Chapman that year with the Cubs and brought him right back. But, you're playing with fire then. Who knows if that works? And you're also, the thing is, there's still a third of the season left. And, you're not going to refund a third of the season ticket holders' money back to everybody. And you got to go down that clubhouse and say, hey, sorry, guys, we waited to wait flat.
Bob, I hear, but that only matters if those guys are going to be winning baseball games anyway. If they don't, then
that's what you got to make. Make a move. At least tell the guys, hey, we still believe in you. Okay, rough 2 months.
I hear you.
Hey, the Red Sox, didn't give up, and look what happened. I just think the American League is so wide open. There's no Dodgers, there's no Atlanta, there's no Philadelphia. I mean, just get in there. It's so mediocre. I mean, when's the last time the American League's been as bad? I can't remember. I really can't.
No, it's been a very long time. You are right about that. Bob, what's the other? I think the part of this conversation that we're not talking about. Everybody keeps saying, "Is Mike Elias on the hot seat?" And when they ask me, I say, "I don't know. I don't." Obviously, whenever David Rubenstein speaks publicly, he says wonderful things about Mike Elias, but clearly no owner is going to come out publicly while the guy's running his team and say, "I'm not sure this guy knows what he's doing." Like, that's not going to happen. What does your gut tell you about whether or not Mike Elias is on the hot seat and whether or not he should be on the hot seat in Baltimore?
Yeah, I don't think he's on the hot seat. I don't. And one thing is that if he's on the hot seat, if you don't believe in him, then why you let him just conduct an important draft? Why are you letting him go through his trade deadline? So I don't believe he is. And I think Rubenstein has even come out and praised him publicly. So, if Rubenstein wants, all he's got to do is tell Elias, "Hey, we're trying the prospects. I want to win. I want to win now. Make it happen." And then if it doesn't happen, okay, then you make a change. But I would think he'd be safe for next year.
Bob Nightengale, you're, of course, following him on Twitter at @BNightingale and USA Today, usatoday.com. Bob, is there anything else that we can plug for you, sir?
No, I just came back from Cooperstown, saw the great Orioles there, and Eddie Murray, Cal Ripken, and company.
Always, I know that's always a special
fun time.
Bob, can I just ask you this? Is there any awkward, and I'm not trying to take shots at anybody, because this is not like I don't think guys aren't deserved. Is there any awkwardness at all at this point with the Hall of Fame that, like, really good players are getting in and, some of the greatest players in baseball history remain on the outside looking in? Is there any awkwardness, or does that, like, is that all on the outside and at Cooperstown nobody thinks about it whatsoever?
They'll talk about it privately, not great guys not getting in, but more on, really, this guy's a Hall of Famer. You guys voted him in, and some of these other guys, didn't. That sort of thing. Almost like it's not the Hall of very good. So you get some of that, but not, you're not hearing guys say, "Hey, where's Barry Bonds? Where's Roger Clemens?"
Yeah.
Those sort of things, or even, Kenny Lofton, or, that. You only hear that, and all you hear is your little private grumblings like, "Man, you guys, the standards are getting lower here." Particularly pitchers is like, "Are you sure?" Yeah.
Man, it's funny because, like, I don't. To me, I'm fine with Jeff Kent being in the Hall of Fame. I am. Like, it's totally good by me. It's just the juxtaposition of part of Jeff Kent's greatness was because of the guy that was, protecting him. Like, it's that juxtaposition is tough for me to see Jeff Kent in, but Barry Bonds not. And I get it. We all know why. I understand, but it's still very difficult for me. Just like that visual is a tough one.
Sure. I remember the writers never voted him in. It was that contemporary committee.
That's true.
He never got more than 45% of the vote.
That's a good point.
I voted for Kent. Just, his numbers were the best by any second baseman. It wasn't like he played, his whole career with Bonds. He bounced around. So, yeah, I can certainly see that. And, I vote for Bonds and Clemens. I vote for Bonds and Clemens every year.
I hear you.
But where I do not vote for Alex Rodriguez or Manny Ramirez, because there was testing then. There were rules then, and, for those guys that violated, and they were suspended.
Can I ask?
Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens didn't break a single rule.
Bob, how'd you handle the Ortiz thing when it came up? Like, how'd you handle that?
I voted for him because he was part of that, the anonymous test. It could have been false positive. It could have been, but the fact I still go on. There was no testing back then. There was no rule broken. Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds weren't suspended a day, weren't fined a nickel. And even Ortiz, that was anonymous drug test, just to decide, okay, are we going to have drug tests or not? If he had been tested positive, and even if he missed 5 games, hey, you're out. You hurt your team.
It's interesting. That's interesting.
Or Bonds and Clemens just helped their team. And hey, there's a handful of guys we voted in the last 10 years who are huge steroid users. we let them in, but they didn't. They never got caught.
Bob Nightengale, always appreciate the conversation, sir. I know it's going to be a very busy week for you. Thank you for squeezing us in. Let's talk again real soon. All right.
All right. Look forward to it. Take care, guys.
Thanks, brother. Bob Nightengale with us here on GCR. It's an interesting. That's I would tell you that's at least a more compelling argument than some that have been made. that my line of delineation is
Yeah, at least there's it's somewhat black and white, I guess.
did you get suspended at a time where it was in the rules?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm going to vote. If you did, I'm not voting for you. If you didn't, I'll vote for you. That's an interesting way of looking at it. It would be one that, having heard that, I would at least be willing to think about more, and I think it's far more justifiable than, anyone who voted no to everybody else and voted yes for David Ortiz. That, to me, is unfathomable that someone would vote no on Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, even the guys that he mentioned, all those guys that were definitively better than David Ortiz. Unquestionably, undisputably better, and also use steroids, right? That is at least
but they call him Big Papi.
That's true. I know, and he was a nice guy. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. And Boston, whatever. We have this weird romantic, they got a wall. They got a Wally. That. There's some bizarre romantic feeling that people have. Yeah, I'll never understand it. That all being said, obviously the crux of this, and this speaks to the. I'm seeing it between John Little Rock, and I actually don't know who it is. That I think Ron, who's going back and forth with him about. This conversation is more complicated. It's so much more complicated to me than just buy or sell. It is a nuanced, and I think that's part of the reason why people struggle with it whenever we have the conversation. They get worked up about the conversation. It's so nuanced. It is not trade Trevor Rogers for whatever you can get for him. It's not really even trade Trevor Rogers. It's let's talk about this. Is there a package that's out there for Trevor Rogers that is so good because there is so little quality that's available at the deadline that it could be a game changer? Could you use that package that you got for Trevor Rogers and then turn around and either at the deadline or, provided there is an offseason, use it to go improve your 2027 team and give them a real chance of winning a World Series? Do you trust Mike Elias to be able to do that? It's all part of this.
I mean, he did it once with Corbin Burns.
He did acquire a year of Corbin Burns. I don't really want to just keep trying to acquire 1 year guys, but if that's all you're if the organization for whatever reason is unwilling to spend big money on free agent pitching, I mean, I don't think it requires that either. I think you could have signed Michael King this past offseason. But
Martinez, we just talked about Nick Martinez.
100%. And they would say, well, we got Shane Baz.
Yeah.
They did.
That cost you, 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, man, a fair amount. But by the way, is that the way this works? Do you acquire a Shane Baz-esque package for Trevor Rogers?
Yeah.
And then turn around and use that.
Go get Joe Ryan.
Whatever it is. This is the roster maxing thing. Part of it is, do you believe that this team is capable? When the argument is made by Bob Nightengale. And I think John Little Rock is right that it's easier for Bob Nightengale from 1,000 feet than it maybe is for those of us that are closer to buy into the, maybe, remember the Ranger, we can say, remember the best argument you can make for the Orioles has nothing to do with the Orioles. The best arguments for the Orioles are the American League is bad and other teams have done it in the past. There's no good Orioles argument other than maybe. I can't prove that they can't do it.
But every time you see Chadwick Trump ground into a double play, it's
it was so sad when it was the bases were loaded and one out, and all you're thinking is, dude, just please strike out. I swear to God.
Just don't take the bat off your shoulder.
Set it
just
at the
don't
table.
take the bat off your shoulder.
Please just strike out so that someone else gets an opportunity. It's like watching National League Baseball.
Right, when the pitcher came up.
100%. And guys were getting walked in the 8-hole that were hitting 170.
Bunt every time? I don't know.
Not with the bases loaded.
But if you can push one further enough, and maybe
sure.
they throw it away.
I'm so sure that Chadwick Trump is an exceptional bunter.
If he can't do it, he's got to figure out something.
I understand. Well, look, they're undefeated in the Yohel Pozo era. Let's not forget that.
That's right, yeah.
Everything has changed now that they've got Yohel Pozo. It's a complicated conversation. And that doesn't play well, I understand, and we share TikTok clips and the whole thing because that's the way that the world works. It's difficult to put into 90 seconds or 3 minutes or whatever it is that Griffin's doing on clips. It's tough because it is broad. It's far more global. Every layer of it matters. What is the real chance of this team doing something this season? Well, their one strength at the moment, I worry, is a weakness when it's all said and done. So the argument that maybe they could be the Red Sox, maybe they could do what the Red Sox did.
Just start winning.
I mean, they won 7 in a row.
Yeah.
And then even in that 7 in a row, you were reminded of their limitations. Last night, the bats came to life again. I don't know. We keep wondering if at some point Kobe Mayo is going to be a real baseball player. We keep wondering if...
I think he got his average up over 200 yesterday.
There you go. The biggest story right now is Jackson Holliday actually turning the corner? Because the week leading up to the All-Star break, it looked like maybe he was turning the corner, and then that didn't necessarily carry over. But if you're willing to combine the last week or so with that time before the All-Star break, you can really start to argue that perhaps Jackson Holliday is turning the corner. Now, there's still a limit to what he is. Like, he's not a huge power bat. Obviously, we know he's capable of hitting the crap out of the ball. We know that's true. But he's not a 35 home run guy. But if Jackson Holliday could be a 280, 25 home run guy, like that changes a lot. I don't see this group having a chance to be what the Rangers were, because I don't see, even if we start doing the Gunnar Henderson becomes a player, Jackson Holliday really is, even if we start doing those things, you still have to solve the innings problem for me. And I get that we don't want to talk about it because it's no fun to talk about, or for some people because you just don't want to believe that innings are all arbitrary. Let a guy pitch until his arm falls off. And, if somehow they end up in that position, I guess that's just what they're going to do. I don't think any of these guys' agents are going to step in and say no.
At least not yet for the guys that just signed.
I mean, certainly not,
Bradish
and Boz, right? Like, I don't think that they would just be like, no way, no how. I don't think that's in the cards. Maybe, by the way, it would be really fascinating to find out, like, if that's a conversation that in part led to the Bradish extension. Like, that would be a wild, rabbit hole to go down that you'll never get the definitive answer to.
They're like, we want to shut down after August or something.
Like, yeah, if his agent reached out and said, what's the plan? And the Orioles just said, well, we want him to keep pitching until he can't pitch anymore. And the agent said,
$90 million.
Yeah, I mean, or first said, no way, no how.
Yeah.
They said, well, wait a second. He's under control for a couple more years. And they said, for 3 more years, you got it. For 3 more years, we won't worry about it. It'd be fascinating to know if that had anything to do with it. But that part of this conversation is still real. I mean, like, Brandon Young has been a marvel. But we're just hoping and praying that Brandon Young can go far beyond anything he's ever done before. And can I say, again, this goes back to the best thing you can say about the Orioles is, I can't prove it's impossible. It's a very difficult thing to do, is prove something is impossible. We didn't think aliens were real. Now the government tells us that aliens are real, kind of openly. I can't prove anything is impossible.
When did they say aliens were real?
Oh, they've been doing that for like years. UFOs, at least. Not really aliens, but
those aren't real.
UFOs for sure. It's just sort of what it is. Ron, the scary part about the O's isn't just the inconsistent hitting from the top prospects, but the fielding is horrible, and that's who those prospects are. And that's part, like, they're a dreadful defensive team. Dreadful. Not bad doesn't even describe it. They're an awful defensive team. And their outfield is a 0. I am interested in Moniak just because, like,
why not?
That exactly right. I don't think Moniak's special, but you're looking for Austin Hayes now. Like, you're chasing what you had.
Who might be available?
I don't think.
Is he hurt? I don't even.
I don't. Yeah, I think he
even know
got
what he's
hurt
up
again
to.
at one point recently. You got to look into that with
Poor
Austin Hayes.
Hayes.
You are chasing. That's the upside is Austin Hayes. And I know Moniak's been playing mostly in left field, and so if you hold on to Taylor Ward, there's redundancy there. But I also think that you could try to trade Taylor Ward and acquire Moniak, who you get another year with. This goes back to roster maxing. And I'm not even telling that Moniak is like a sizable upgrade over Taylor Ward as much as like he's a moderate upgrade over Taylor Ward, or at least what this version of Taylor Ward is. I mean, he's not going to be a 350 on base guy, but he's got a little bit more pop in the bat, and I think he's a bit more mobile. I'm interested because the bar is this low. It's not really about, look how good Mickey Moniak is. It's the bar is so insanely low, and there doesn't seem to be a top side bat that's available. If there was a game changer available in the outfield, by all means, you tell me who that guy is.
Yeah.
I am not aware of anyone who's a game changer that's available in the outfield, and you just have nothing. And I hate that. Like, it hurts me, and I pray that Dylan Beavers becomes a baseball player, and I continue to pray that Colton Cowser is a guy that is worthy of having in the lineup, but it's so tough, man. I wasn't high on the outfield coming into this season, and even I couldn't have seen this.
Yeah. Maybe Joe Adell. I don't know if he's available.
And that's really weird because everybody else with the Angels has been brought up, and no one's brought up Joe Adell.
I thought he got brought up.
And even then,
it hasn't been.
Is Joe Adell special, or is he just better than what you have?
Right. He's a guy that has 15 homers. He's got 16 homers right now.
It's a bit basically like Mickey Moniak. Like, it's the same kind of argument on Joe Adell. It's just, well, you've got nothing.
Yankees fans are clamoring for Joe Adell, so they, there.
But I just haven't heard reporting about.
Yeah, there's not been.
Joe Adell right now is a 292 on base guy.
He's got 16 homers. It's more than Taylor Ward.
I mean,
and he robs home runs, which I guess Taylor Ward does too.
Well,
so.
At least he did in one game. At least he did.
I think he did. I think he had one more game.
Did he have?
One.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Boy, God, that was depressing. It was so depressing. I was hoping that Bob had something better for me in the outfield. Like, actually, you know who you're not thinking of that's really available? Because the Orioles don't need to just address the outfield for the rest of the season. We're looking at their 2 first-round picks that were outfielders before this year. Nobody is looking at them as being.
Get ready for the August 4th. They're going to sign Austin Slater.
That's good. At this point, why not? But Enrique Bradfield looks less and less like.
Where's Alejandro De Aza?
There you go. That's your guy. Go get Gerardo Parra again.
Yeah.
Go do that. Enrique Bradfield doesn't look like an answer. Vance Honeycutt isn't even a consideration at this point. Vance Honeycutt is a lost cause at the moment. And I know that people have brought up that Kjerstad started hitting again at AAA, but I guess what I would say is, okay, it's hard to get worse. Go ahead, give him another look. But do you think that's the answer? They don't have an answer for now. They don't have an answer for the future. I don't remember a time where it was this bleak. I mean, even in the down years.
Well, because they always had Mullins or Jones.
Yes, something. It is bleak in the outfield. Bleak. They have to address now, next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. They've got to be aggressive, man. The outfield is a mess.
Or Leody Taveras just becomes April Leody again.
That's we keep coming back to. How could it be different from the Orioles? Everything that you're seeing could not be what you see tomorrow. That's how it could be different.
Maybe Gunnar Henderson starts hitting baseballs.
Keep saying that, right?
God, when he was or Kevin Brown was what's really encouraging is the Orioles aren't striking out tonight, except for Gunnar Henderson, who struck out twice, and he's got the only 2 strikeouts of the team the entire night.
They come back in. By the way, today's show, Brought to you by the print issue of Pressbox. It is available for free at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores, everywhere around town where you find Pressbox. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Kevin Brown is on the cover. Great story about the Orioles. A very likable play-by-play voice. Go pick that up right now today at, as I said, your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores.
The stars are shining brighter at Live Casino this summer. Celebrate America's 250th with $1 million. Earn entries daily July 1st through August 29th and snap a pic with our game board for a chance to win $100 in free play every week. We'll draw 50 free play winners each Saturday and $1 million winner on August 29th. Light it up at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnkin. If you've been injured in a car or truck crash, you probably know this is stressful. Medical bills, the insurance company giving you the runaround, you got to get your car fixed. You don't just need a lawyer, you need results. At Warnkin LLC, we represent the injured across Maryland. Whether it's a car or truck crash case, medical malpractice, or any other serious personal injury, we fight for maximum compensation for you and maximum ease for you. You don't want to have to deal with this stuff. Warnkin LLC has been voted best personal injury law firm in Maryland for a reason. For us, 443 Results isn't just a phone number, it's our mission. Get the advocate that you need. Call us today, 443 Results, or visit us online, warnkinlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, when you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of the program. If you missed it earlier today, University of Maryland announced that they will officially be playing in Baltimore again in September against South Carolina, which is there's this weird like kind of football rivalry between Maryland and South Carolina that's popped up related to recruiting. Like they've been in on some of the same guys. I think Nick Harbor was one of those guys. And I think maybe South Carolina was trying to get in on Zion Ely.
I think so too, yeah. Because he took a visit there, right, after he already
he'd
committed. Yeah.
So there's been this like weird like internet thing between Maryland and South Carolina. It just doesn't translate in any way to building juice for a basketball game. Like that it's bizarre because like there's not nothing there, but there's not really anything that can help you in trying to get people to show up for a basketball game. The game is December 19th, so it is around the holidays. That is, a better time. I didn't even check what day of the week that is. I assume that's a Saturday, but I don't.
It is, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
December 19th is a Saturday, so that's a good thing. Obviously, that you haven't. What they did last year, they were up against so much. New coach, no one knew anyone on the roster. Nondescript opponent, even though it was local. Tuesday night, season just beginning. I mean, it was just a disaster. And so you were always going to get the empty building that you got. I don't know. This is the problem with this. There are some things that are advantages. Saturday's an advantage. Right before the holidays, maybe people that are coming into town, you're looking for something to do. Kids are off school. Like, there are advantages, obviously, to just generically that date, that game. South Carolina is at least a more known commodity than Coppin State is for the common basketball fan. Still, and you may actually know a couple of the players on the Maryland roster this time around. Not many, but a couple. Like, you might be aware of Baba because he was a high-profile recruit, and there are high expectations. And, they are bringing back their best player from a year ago who got hurt, and it looked really bad. So, like, you at least know a couple of guys on the team, unlike a year ago when you knew 0 guys on the team. 0. Literally 0. They haven't done a very good job of marketing.
Steve Blake's son.
Right, who didn't play. You didn't know him. You just knew who his father was, to be fair. Like, that is different. They still haven't done a very good job of, like, and part of the problem is, like, rosters don't even, who knows who really is on a roster? That's sort of the awkward part about it. They haven't done a great job of pushing those guys out there anywhere but their own internal, like, media channels. That's just sort of, I don't know. I guess that's what just teams do anymore. I don't know. Like, will there be more people that show up? Yes. Is it, if they go and lose, like if they go to Vegas and.
What's their Vegas schedule, do you know?
Oh, God.
Sorry.
Thanks, Griffin.
Well, then I'll look it up. Hold on. I'll get it. I'll beat you.
Yeah, will you? This is who can do the internet faster?
Yeah. Oh, they don't have, like, the full schedule out.
Yeah, I didn't think they did.
No. All right. Well, let's see who can do the internet faster.
If they go to Vegas and have a similar trip as their...
Oh, they beat UNLV.
Thank you.
Big win.
Similar trip as last year, and they don't beat anyone of merit early on in the season, it's going to be hard for them to get a real, like, noticeable crowd in Baltimore, even on a Saturday before Christmas.
They face Tennessee first.
Okay.
And then they get the winner. Well, I guess it depends. Yeah. So they don't know? Is that how it worked last year?
Yeah, they don't know.
Okay.
It's not because it's a tournament.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's a tournament. If they were to beat Tennessee, then they would get a winner. If they lose
right.
Tennessee,
So then I guess they get San Diego State or Iowa State? Is it as simple as they get the loser if they lose?
If it's bracketed, yes. That's how it works. Correct. We'll see.
Iowa State's pretty good.
We'll see. And I think the last game, there's like some goofy process to determining who your last opponent is. It's like, how have you won both of your games, and did you win by enough points? Like,
right. That was how they did.
Like, somebody went 3-0 last year and didn't win the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, it's so goofy the way that they do this thing. But they need to do something that gets people's attention, that makes people say, oh, maybe there's something to this. And I would assume if they're playing on the 19th, that means they'll have played a couple of Big Ten games before that as well. So there's also an opportunity to maybe win even one of those games.
Usually take this long for the schedule to get completely finalized.
It definitely feels like it
feels later. I know it takes
not that the schedules are normally coming out in June, but I feel like July is normally when we've seen schedules come out, and now it feels like more of August. And I know that there was a story this week of John Calipari, speaking of John in Little Rock. John Calipari was saying that he's still been calling, trying to get someone.
It's not John in Fayetteville.
Yeah, that's true. To try to come play them at Bud Walton Arena, and nobody will. So then Doug Gottlieb was campaigning. Give me the money, I'll bring Green Bay down there, because that's the notable marquee game that Arkansas is looking for, is a matchup with the Phoenix.
I mean, I don't know. Green Bay started playing pretty
They
well
were better
last
year. You're not wrong about that.
Doug Gottlieb, I don't know if you heard, he wants to coach.
That's right. He decided that maybe coaching
he's gonna focus
should
on
be
coaching.
a full-time job.
Yeah.
What a thought. What a thought. But anyway, the moral of the story is Maryland's playing South Carolina. You hope that they do something before then that gets a little bit of juice and allows for there to be more of a crowd so that everybody doesn't just say, well, this is why Maryland doesn't go to Baltimore. Like, they could have played that game last year anywhere. Nobody was going to it. They could have played it. If they played it in College Park, 7 people would have been there. Like, it's in fact, they probably had more because there were probably some more people related to Coppin State that were willing to go to the arena than would have been willing to go to College Park. Like, it's just that was always going to be a loser. Always. Forever. This one has the chance to be better, but it still requires the team doing something. And if they go get flattened by 30-plus points in multiple games in Vegas and lose, then it's even the day of the week and the proximity to Christmas and all of that will not salvage there being no interest in Maryland basketball. The results are going to dictate that, plain and simple. Period. End of story. Had to do this a little bit earlier because of his busy schedule, but someone who has done just about everything in pro football, Andrew Brandt. He's got a new book out. Spent some time talking with him about lots of topics, including, given his expertise, the Lamar Jackson contract situation. Let's take a listen right now here on GCR. Well, what a fascinating life our next guest has lived. Of course, an agent and then on to the team side, working in the front office for the Packers and being around just like legends throughout his career, then getting into the media side of things. And I was so excited to dive into his new book. It's Smarter About Sports, to read about all of it. He is Andrew Brandt, and he is with us now once again here on GCR. Andrew, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's always great to catch up with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Hi, Glenn. Thanks so much. And yeah, I've been, I'll just get right to it. I've been asked since I left the Packers like 15 years ago. I've been asked more than anything I've been asked, which is, when are you going to write a book?
I mean, you got some stories. I got some
stories, which I've told in many ways, not all of them, of course, but over the years through my columns, first at National Football Post, then at ESPN, then at Sports Illustrated, through my TV at ESPN, through my podcast, through my newsletter, through various outlets. And I've always said, well, I'm doing all these different things in addition to my full-time job as a sports law professor. I don't got time to write a book. And at some point, Glenn, I think it just overtook me. The resistance to it was overtaken by this, I guess, urge to let the world know what really goes on in the inner workings of sports through stories that only I can tell. And the more I talk to people about learning, and this is the way I teach as well, is just, you can learn by giving lessons, but the best way to learn is through stories. It resonates with people. So I tell stories from my life as an agent, from my life as a GM of the Barcelona Dragons, from my 10 years managing the Green Bay Packers, from my life in media, from my life as an NIL consultant the past few years, my life as an academic. That's a little different with University of Pennsylvania at Wharton as well as Villanova. And it's just sort of a learning experience told through a fortunate life that I've had in sports.
As I started thumbing through the book, and I've only started thumbing through it. I can't wait to dive more. It's funny because you and I, when we've talked over the years, it's not only been about, to your point, something that you had written about, something that was very on the moment. We've never talked, you and I, about your history with the Baltimore boys, with the Dunbar guys and Muggsy.
That's right.
Can you take me back to that? And at that point in your life, what you knew about that group of guys, how special those guys really were. I was just chatting with Sheldon Candace, who, of course, directed the 30 for 30 recently. And, he was like, people around the country don't realize this was the greatest team ever assembled. Like, how did that come about, your connection with those guys, Andrew?
It's amazing because David Falk was my first boss, my 6 years, my mentor. He's the super NBA agent who people know for representing Michael Jordan and, of course, Patrick Ewing and so many great players. And I got to help on Patrick and Michael, of course, as the sort of the assistant to David. But he was letting me handle some real clients. And among those were obviously the only player in history that I could look down upon, Muggsy. And Muggsy led to all that group. And yeah, it's hard to believe right now, but that group played together in high school. And now they'd be at some academy in Florida or academy in Utah or something. It was Reggie Williams. It was Reggie Lewis, who didn't even start. And it was Wingate and Muggsy. And we had them all. And obviously, two of them, Wingate and Williams, were from Georgetown, where we were representing all the players at that time. And just obviously, I didn't know them really in high school. You know, we recruited Muggsy at Wake Forest, and the other guy at Georgetown, and Reggie Lewis was at BU. But a real connection to Baltimore, and over the years got to know Muggsy's family and some of the families there. Yeah, that's I think when people read it, they'll have your reaction like, oh my God, those guys played together in high school like that. That was a team, and it was.
The way that we talk about Muggsy, and you joke about being able to look down on him. Every time, like, you know, Griffin's my producer, a young man, and every time I try to explain what an unfathomable phenomenon Muggsy was, because it wasn't a bit, like, it wasn't like, hey, we're going to put this short guy on the roster. And
right.
He was a great basketball player at legit 5'3". When you talk to people about how do you describe, to me, there's an argument to be made that Muggsy deserves consideration for the Basketball Hall of Fame, because I don't know that we can ever truly put into context how impossible his career really was.
I appreciate this, Glenn. I've done a lot of interviews on the book, and no one's focused on Muggsy.
Dude, I have such affinity for Muggsy, Andrew. I have such affinity for Muggsy.
He's you know, what is amazing, I look at it as the person, and I saw where he came from in the projects of Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And even beyond being 5'3", what he came from and came through and persevered, and some of the stories he told me about growing up in Baltimore, like, oh my God, like, even if he wasn't 5'3", if he was 6'3" or 6'8", and then you add on the 5'3", and like you said, this was no fluke. This was the 12th pick in the draft. Imagine that, 12th pick. How people would go crazy right now if there was a 5'3" guy picked 12, and he went to our hometown team, the Washington Bullets, so I was around him a lot. And I tell the story of coming into the Bullets with a player on the team named Manu Bol,
Mm-hmm.
who was obviously 7'7", and I was at the photo shoots, and, you know, I just remember the two of them kind of like, yeah, this is the circus we've just been thrown in. Let's just do another photo shoot. Here we go. You know, they knew this was a circus, that the two of them are going to get photographed all the time, and this contrast. And you can imagine how that would be today, just be all over the internet. But what a story, and what a good guy. Just likable by everyone.
So incredibly likable, and he continues to give back to his hometown. We love Muggsy here. We'll always love Muggsy here. One of the greatest people that we've ever known in Baltimore. Yeah, Griffin's now just seeing this Manute Bol Muggsy Bogues picture for the first time, and his mind is so blown by it. Andrew Brandt is with us. Smarter About Sports is the book. Andrew, I'm going to ask it to you this way, because I know that so many people ask you about Favre, Rodgers. I just want to ask you about Green Bay in general. Because I had this theory, you know, knowing John Harbaugh a bit, the way that I've known him, when he was let go, I said to everybody, I think he's going to go to New York with one exception, if the Packers job becomes available. Because my gut tells me that's the best job to have in football. Am I right about the uniqueness of that experience, all of it? That, you know, not having a boss, really, like, am I right that the Packers experience really is the most unique experience that you can have in football?
Yeah, it is. And I start my discussion of the 4 chapters in the book about Green Bay as this is simply the best story in sports. And that's saying a lot. But can you imagine a city of 100,000 people where it seems like time just stands still? Like, I tell stories about, going to banquets and they're filling up my glasses of whole milk and walking in the streets, and I'm not the president, I'm not the GM, but everyone's stopping me and, hey, how's that Donald Driver contract going? What's going on with Aaron? Just it was a truly unique place, and still is, to think that they're not only competing but thriving against the New Yorks, the Dallases, the LAs, Miamis. And that's just the way it is. It boggles the mind that I was there for 9.5 years where I'm just sitting around like, this is an NFL city? Think about any small Midwestern city that we barely know that are even bigger than Green Bay. Imagine them having an NFL team. It's just unbelievable. And obviously people want to talk about Brett and Aaron, which I talk about, but I think what comes through in my discussion of the Packers is the uniqueness. Again, like you said, no owner. I'm doing all the contracts, whether I did a $5 million deal or a $50 million deal. There's no one over me saying, hey, Andrew, good job, bad job.
Right.
So we had incredible autonomy. We didn't take that for granted. But, the coach of the Packers, the general manager of the Packers, the cap contract guy for the Packers, who was me, they're the bosses. There's a board of directors, yes, but they kind of bless whatever the football department does. So it's incredible autonomy where I appreciated not having an owner, where I could do my contracts. I heard about colleagues where the owner would walk in one day and say, get that deal done today. I don't care that you're trying to leverage or whatever. I never dealt with that. But on the other hand, and I do talk about this, there were times I felt an inferiority complex because I go to meetings, 2-3 times a year, and the commissioner and the senior people at the league, maybe it was me. I just felt like they're sort of patting us on the head, little old Green Bay. Good job.
Really?
Because in simplest terms, we didn't have a billionaire representing us at the table.
Wow.
And I think a lot of teams felt like, oh, Roger treats this team better than that team. Roger's close with Robert Kraft, so he doesn't treat us as. And so that's throughout the league. But we had it as well. There were times I'm like, geez, if we had an owner, this wouldn't be happening.
That's really fascinating to me because, and I know that somebody would say, Glenn, you're an idiot. The most important entity to the NFL is the Cowboys, but probably because of what you're alluding to. But it just feels to me like the Packers are the thing that everyone around football can embrace, and in so many ways. And maybe part of it is the fact that you guys had great quarterbacks throughout your history, so the Packers were so watchable. But it just feels like to me the Packers are as important an entity to the NFL on the whole as anyone because they're like this lovable institution that you aspire to in so many ways.
Yeah, it was tough. There were some challenges. Obviously, signing free agents was a challenge, and I go on and on about the Charles Woodson story and how we were the only suitor, and he still didn't want to sign with us, and I'm negotiating against myself, and they're asking me about black people up there and everything. These are the things you deal with where you don't deal with other teams. But you're right. I come across so many people before, during, and after Green Bay that are Packer fans, and I would ask, so what's your connection? You have family in Wisconsin? No,
just watching them, just everything about it.
And I grew up, and we didn't really have a team. I just thought the Packers were so cool. I hear that all the time.
Yeah, just thinking that you could be in a neighborhood and there's an NFL stadium, like there's Lambeau Field. It's just it's
yeah,
so
and
cool.
the fans. Like I tell the story about. I had to make a trade. I was in the beach. There was no phone service. I go to this park ranger, and I say, listen, I'm with the Packers. I need to use your phone. And he kind of laughed at me. And I said, we're trading this. It was a player named David Bowens. I said, we're trading David Bowens to the Bills. I really need your phone. And he looks at me and he says, why are we trading Bowens? And I said, oh, because we need a tight end. I got to do it right now, please. He says, why are we trading?
You're negotiating with the guy in order to be able to negotiate. This is wonderful.
Yeah, those are the stories. You only in Green Bay to get those
awesome,
stories.
Andrew. Get Smarter About Sports is the book. He's Andrew Brandt. He's with us on GCR. Andrew, I do have to ask you for your whatever context you can provide, because I'm sure that it's made you scratch your head. But here we are again in Baltimore, and you know a little bit about both sides of this conversation. And Lamar Jackson, everybody knew the way the contract was written, they needed to go back to the table this year. It was going to be a $75 million cap hit. It was untenable, and that had to be part of the conversation when the last deal was done. And yet they get to this offseason and nothing gets done, and there's nothing that suggests that the Ravens don't want to pay Lamar Jackson ungodly amounts of money to be their quarterback moving forward. There's nothing that actually suggests, no matter how many times people posit the idea that he wants to go to Miami and play there, but there's nothing that actually suggests that Lamar Jackson doesn't want to be a Raven. I don't want to make it a big deal. I don't want to make it seem like there's real upheaval or a problem, but everyone knew this had to get done, and it didn't get done. What do you make of this situation?
I'm not sure. I'm not there. I think that, these deals don't happen quickly. Obviously, the earlier deals he's done have not happened quickly. These things take time. And of course, the obvious point is he's under contract. There's no deadline. He's not leaving camp. There's no problems with him playing. So I think that'll get, the one thing that's complicated for the last few times is, of course, not having an agent. I get asked about that a lot. I talk in the book how I had players come to me. I was a former agent, and I'm at the Packers, and they say, "Hey, you're cool. You used to be an agent. Let's negotiate. I don't need an agent." And I would say, okay, and I would say to myself, this will be fun. And the bottom line is it was not fun. It was not a good experience, and I can relate to the Ravens because, you're telling a player they're not as good as they think they are. You're telling a player they're not as valuable as they think they are, because to them it's very simple. That team paid him X, I'm better than X, pay me more than X. And you're talking about, well, they're a year away from free agency, you're 2 years away from free agency, whatever it may be. I can see that with Jackson, with the last deal with the Watson. Well, Watson got a full guarantee. Why are you not treating me like they treat Watson? And I'm better than Watson, and I'm incredibly more healthy than Watson. And of course, it didn't happen. So the collusion suit and everything else. But I understand these are difficult negotiations, especially without an agent, because you're dealing with your superstar player. Yet you want to protect the precedent of no guarantees. So these are the tough things that go on.
It's such a weird spot to be. And what you're saying, there's no doubt, is true, right? Negotiations do require you at some point to say, you love the player, but you have to try to win something. You're going to have to pull something out as ammunition, right? You can't just go in and say, "Gosh, we just love you. You're the greatest thing that ever happened, but here's why we're going to try to offer you a little bit less." I can only imagine. Did you ever have to say to a guy, "Hey, you didn't really have that great of a year last year when you were doing this"?
You have to be professional and tactful. I mean, the comps are the key, and player comps are always going to be the guy that got paid really well, whether he's good or bad. And you try to come up with your comps. I'm trying to deal with my personnel guys on is our guy really quote unquote better than that guy or worse. And yeah. I mean, that's any negotiation. Especially agents are always going to be delusional. My guy's the best. My guy's better than those guys. And you just have to sort of fight that with, we're trying to prepare the team in a different way. And, I contrast my agent life where you're like a fantasy football player. You're just trying to maximize the guys you have on different teams, to a team negotiator, which is completely precedent. I'd had to have agents I really like, just give me this clause here, just give me this advance, give me this. And I would say, I'd love to, but I can't, because if I do that, there's a line at the door. And that's what you have to recognize as a team negotiator. You do one little thing out of the ordinary, you got the line at the door of every agent and player on the team.
No doubt.
And that, you don't worry about that as an agent.
I just wanted to get your perspective, and I know I can't keep you all day, Andrew. I really appreciate this because we see how look, you brought up the collusion case. The NFL has successfully prevented fully guaranteed contracts. And whatever words we use to describe it, they have managed to do it. You see what's in front of us and what looks like we're headed to in baseball, where everyone seems to think that we are moving towards a work stoppage because it looks like owners are trying to draw a line in the sand, whether it's the salary cap, some of these same issues that they feel like have benefited the NFL that have hurt them. Do you think there's an argument that it maybe even is worth it to baseball, that even if it were to cost them time, to say, we have to fix this somehow. We have to make, allow a world where it's more likely that a Green Bay Packers type of organization could be competitive in Major League Baseball. We have to deal with the health of the whole sport right now, even if that's going to hurt us in the short term.
Yeah, this is a big issue, and sorry, I have to go after this answer, but this is it. I mean, this is the business of sports story of 2026. Whatever goes on the next 2 months in the baseball season is secondary to what happens afterwards. The owners are intent on imposing a cap, and a cap is a leveler of the playing field that has served the NFL so well in Green Bay, I know so well. MLBPA, the strongest union in sports, has basically decided no. And we don't even care if that institutes a floor, so teams like the Pirates and Royals, et cetera, would have to spend up. They don't want anything that would control the top teams from spending down. So they're more concerned with the Mets, Yankees, Dodgers having free reign than the low-spending teams forced to spend up. So thus, we're going to have a fight. And whether that fight leads to work stoppage, we'll see. Probably a work stoppage. Certainly in December, January, February, when no one's paying attention to baseball, but we'll see if it lasts into the season. It's set up for a fight. The owners and Manfred want a cap, period. So here we go.
And it might be the better overall thing, although none of us want to see it hurt the time. Andrew Brandt, Smarter About Sports is the book. We've linked it up on our Twitter account at Glenn Clark Radio. I can't wait to dive in more. Always appreciate our conversations. Thank you so much for doing this.
Likewise, Glenn. And yes, Amazon, there's also the website now, smarteraboutsports.com. Appreciate everyone reading it and leaving a nice review on Amazon. That would really, I really thank you for that.
Andrew Brandt, great stuff with him. And started diving into the book. What a life he's lived. And I keep coming back to, like, every time Lamar Jackson's contract comes up and I want to be like, hey, I think everything's cool. I think it is. I had a conversation this weekend with some folks who I know have a bit more insight into the Lamar Jackson camp. And people who have worked with Lamar Jackson directly. And, like, I came away with it from that conversation with the feeling that I always have whenever we talk about this, which is just it's perilous to discuss it too deeply, because sometimes the answer is you cannot figure out what makes Lamar Jackson tick. There, as I constantly say, there's two diametrically opposing thoughts here. The first is everyone knew this was the way it had to work. You did the contract to go back to the table before the 2026 season. Everyone involved was aware of that. There was no debate. Everyone knew it had to be priority number one after last season. And yet, still nothing got done. And so for the people that feed into the idea that maybe Lamar Jackson wants to play somewhere else, that's the ammunition they need. And you can't argue with them. That nothing was gained by Lamar Jackson. Nothing was gained by the Ravens. It didn't help the Ravens get closer to putting together a Super Bowl championship roster. The only thing that could be gained by Lamar Jackson is the possibility of getting closer to true free agency, which happens so rarely. That's the only gain that could possibly come from it. Now, the flip side to this conversation is the continued, and yet there is nothing that suggests that Lamar Jackson isn't totally and completely happy in Baltimore. Nothing. I'm going to assume Lamar Jackson did the Ravens internal podcast, like the team podcast this week. I don't imagine that the Ravens internal podcast spoke much about Lamar Jackson's contract situation. We know he doesn't like to talk about it anyway. I'm just going to guess they didn't even ask him to go through the motions of not talking about it the way that he'll at least do at the podium when someone inevitably brings it up. I'm going to assume they didn't even bother bringing it up, but I don't know that. I haven't gone through and listened to it. But there is nothing that says that Lamar Jackson is unhappy and wants out. He showed up for much more of the offseason than we've ever seen him show up for. The evidence would suggest otherwise. Both pieces of this are relevant. The people that I talk to that have worked with Lamar Jackson say, dude, there's always just a chance that, one day Lamar wakes up and says, hey, what was that offer? I guess I'll just do that. But until he does, or you could say that maybe he wants one more year of quarterback contracts on the table. I don't even know who that would be this year. Who's doing deals this year? I can't even think of, because this is still year 3 for Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, so that wouldn't be them. Who's on the table for contracts? God, that's so wild that this is how removed from the conversation I am. I don't even know who the quarterbacks are that are up for contracts. I guess maybe if we get through year 3, then
CJ Stroud, right? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I get, if he has a good year, I mean, he's just the next quarterback who's up for a contract, so he'd be breaking the bank. But I mean, he has to have a good year. Right now, there's a lot of concerns about CJ Stroud. I guess if Lamar waited until after the year, it's possible that the Bears could do the Caleb Williams, because you can do it after 3, right? Maybe they do it first.
So Bryce Young.
Yeah, that's not going to be a.
So it'd be Bryce Young, Stroud.
I mean, that would require him having a monstrous season in order for that to be the market setter. I don't know if there's somebody else who's up for another contract or up for another extension.
Baker, I think, is, but something just. I think they just.
I mean, look.
There's just a report.
If it's as simple as whoever's helping Lamar just said, look, man, you could always just wait another year. Just wait another year, see if a couple more contracts get done, see where that money goes, and it's possible. But presumably, I don't know. It's so difficult to talk about this subject. It's so impossibly difficult to have a conversation about this subject because both things are true, with the one caveat being that this is entering poison pill. The Ravens can do the thing where they move some money around again next year if they have to. They do that presumably before they would just let Lamar Jackson walk, but it's very difficult to go into a true contract year. The difference being the last time around, you always knew you could put the franchise tag on him. You can't put a tag on him. So if it gets to the point where Lamar just says, I'm going to play again on a contract year, then you have to have the conversation. These are these conversations you don't want to talk about, but you have no choice but to have a conversation about trading him because you're setting yourself up for the possibility of him just leaving in free agency. Possibly. Right now, they need to worry about preparing for a season.
What's the comp pick they get back for?
A third rounder. That's what the return would be. We just have to be realistic about it. I don't want to. It's like when people get mad at me about talking about other things related to the Ravens.
Maybe Anthony Richardson will reset the market.
Yeah, maybe that'll be who it is that changes everything. Is he still a Colt? Did they end up ever? But
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is good to go, apparently.
Yes, yeah. Apparently, all these guys who pop their Achilles.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
It's like a
yeah.
5-month injury now. It's wild.
Oh gosh, who's the guy? Ethan.
Yeah, Posick.
Posick.
Yeah.
Posick. There.
Really struggling. Really struggling.
Piosic. I don't know why I wanted
Ethan
to say
Posick, the Ravens center. Yes, tore his Achilles in December. Good to go. I think at this point Patrick Mahomes is going to be the Week 1 starter for the
that's
Chiefs.
what it seems like. Jeez.
Like,
although Garrett Nussmeier is throwing the ball really quick.
oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
paying attention.
No, you gotta see this clip that the Chiefs
I
posted.
don't
They
care
were
this
like,
much
they were
about-
like,
I
they were
don't
like
think
the
I care as
QB
much
room.
about
It
the
was like
topic as you do.
Mahomes, nice little throw.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, nice little throw.
Uh-huh.
And then they must have like,
Holy crap! I forgot Justin Fields was in
Yeah.
Kansas City. Completely forgot.
they
he was
must.
in
I guess
Kansas
we'll have to
City.
do that game as well, guys.
Oh, yeah,
what
we
team
do
is
need
this
to go.
guy?
We definitely are going to have to do that game at some point. Wow, I would have definitely missed that one.
Darn it!
Yeah,
How do I?
you should have said. You should have said
Men in
that one
Black.
for the game.
You know.
Oh, are we doing the other game?
Yeah. Should we do that now?
Do you want to take a break and we'll do it?
Yeah, we can take a
Break, and then Griffin's
it
got
is
a
full.
game for me that I completely forgot about until he just brought this game up. Lollapalooza act or made up word?
Well, I was thinking. I'll tell you.
Okay, we'll talk about it on the other side. Today's show also brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. Off this week because Stan's got he's the $1 million man. We're rebuilding him. We have the technology. But Stan normally talking baseball with Ross and Luke every week. Brought to you by Warnken Law and the Costas Inn with 2 great locations, the OG in Dundalk, the new one in Timonium.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, and you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
The stars are shining brighter at Live Casino this summer. Celebrate America's 250th with $1 million. Earn entries daily July 1st through August 29th and snap a pic with our game board for a chance to win $100 in free play every week. We'll draw 50 free play winners each Saturday and $1 million winner on August 29th. Light it up at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Dave LaMonaco profiles Orioles play-by-play voice Kevin Brown, looking at his rise as an amiable mainstay and one of the top voices in all of baseball. Also inside, Antonio Barbera looks at whether the championship window is narrowing for the Ravens veteran core, and our special travel section with a look at sports tourism options throughout Maryland for you and your family to enjoy this summer. Pressbox is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Real quick, it was 6 years ago today that we lost Mo Gabba. Obviously, the Orioles celebrated Mo Gabba Day over the weekend because they're on the road, but not a day goes by where we don't think about Mo Gabba and the impact that he made on our lives and the stories we all tell about Mo Gabba. The one that I tell most consistently is the one where when we decided that Mo was going to be our sports person of the year in 2019, that Bill Ordine was working on the story, and because Stan and I had really made that decision almost like, I don't want to say on our own, but like independently, that was the direction we were going to go. Bill actually didn't know a lot about Mo's stories. Bill's not a sports radio listener. He's not like a fan. He's a writer, you know. He just wasn't as familiar at that point. And so Bill wanted to make sure he got it right, because like when we told him about it, he understood the gravity. He was like, well, this is big. We got to do this right. And so he asked us to read the first draft of the story before he moved any further. And he had talked to Eric DaCosta in the first draft of the story, and Eric had said, you know, I'm not the most religious person, but when I held Mo's hand, I felt like I was holding the hand of God. And I had said, frankly, I thought that was too over the top. I just thought it was too much. I thought we were traipsing into hyperbole when we did that. We did leave that in the story. We didn't take it out because it was really what Eric DaCosta had said. It wasn't Bill Ordine saying it. That was Eric DaCosta saying it. And I had talked to Mo before that, but I had never actually held Mo's hand before that moment. And we did an event that year, the way that we try to do charity coat drives every year at Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square for Helping Up Mission, and I'd already scheduled it, and our friend Bradley Bozeman was coming out to do it with us, and I just had this idea because the issue was hitting stands the next day. What if we involved Mo and his family? And I knew the affinity that Bradley had for Mo, and like when I was running it by him, he was like, oh my God, that would be awesome. And then the Chick-fil-A folks were like, we'll send a limo for Mo. We'll come bring his family. And my buddy Eric Arditi was helping me out with it all. And it was just this like dream of a night. Like it was wonderful. But Mo, as soon as I got over to him, grabbed my hand and held on to it. And I felt what Eric DaCosta felt. And I talk about it a lot with the people that know Mo. I've been very blessed that Sanzi and his former teacher, Lynn, have included me so many times in so many things that they've done over the years. And Jeremy, Priestley, who was incredibly close with Mo. And I almost talk about it a lot. There was a line in I don't remember if it was Ocean's 11, it might have been Ocean's 13, where he said, like, you shook Sinatra's hand. You should know better. And it was like there was this club of you shook Sinatra's hand, and if you're in the club, then you're supposed to have a certain. And I have kind of talked about holding Mo's hand the same way. Kristen Hudak, the Orioles' former PR director, she and I have talked about that. Like, we know because we've held Mo's hand. We know what we felt. We know what we were touching. And there will never be anyone like Mo Gabba. There will never be a human being that will impact us the way that he did. And we think about him eternally. And we do everything in our power to continue talking about him so that more people who didn't know Mo will say, like, who is this guy? Why is Mo in the end zone? Why are we like, and we'll look up his story and learn about him and think even slightly about how maybe they could be a better person in the name of carrying the spirit of Mo Gaba. The greatest Baltimorean that ever lived. Bar none. Period. End of sentence. Maybe the greatest human being that ever lived. And as so many often say, too good for this world. We love Mo. We think about Mo constantly. And we remember the words that Scott Garceau said when Mo passed away. He said, now Mo gets to watch a baseball game. And I get teary-eyed every time I think about it. So, yeah, not a great thing to transition from. I acknowledge that. But I was on my heart, and I wanted to make sure that we recognize that today. All right, now, far less important than that. Dramatically less important. So I try to make sure that nobody sees my tears. Just yawning over here, that's all, just yawning.
Oh, you're just so...
Number of times I've watched a Disney film with my kids, and I've had to like do the bit where I was pretending like I wasn't. It's something about with your kids, man.
Just cry. Just
what
let
was
it out, I guess, during the Disney movie.
Oh my God,
Toy Story 3, whatever, you know.
Nah, we were on the Disney.
Lion King.
We were on the Disney cruise. It wasn't even one that I think that people loved all that much. Was it Brave? What was the one where like
that was
the
brother?
The medieval... No, that was Brave. What was the one where the brother? It was medieval. The brother was like missing his body, and they were on like a quest to find it.
Was that Onward?
Onward.
Yeah.
And they showed it on the Disney cruise, and it's all about like the dad.
Yeah.
And I'm just like sitting in a hot tub on the Disney cruise, just crying because I'm sitting there with my two boys. Right.
That like came out, I think, over COVID. My brother and I sat down to watch that, and we watched like 15 minutes of it. And we were like, we can't do this right now.
Yeah. And what about?
We literally did. We turned it off.
What about then? Which one of them is it? Nemo or Finding? It was Nemo. Nemo's all about the dad. It's all about the dad.
Yeah. Try and find
right.
his son.
And I'm pretty sure they showed Onward and Nemo back to back on a day where it was lightly raining on the Disney cruise, so nobody else like wanted to be out in the rain. Like all of the rest of my family was like, we'll find indoor things to do. And my kids just wanted to eternally be in pools and hot tubs. That's all they ever want. And the water slides. So I was up with the two boys and just me, and I couldn't get away from it. And I think we watched back to back Onward and Nemo. And I'm just bubbling like a baby.
You just got to constantly dive into the pool. So
yeah,
100%. It's water. It's water.
You're doing everything in your power so that nobody notices that you're the grown-ass man who's bawling on a Disney cruise because he's watching two movies about fathers and sons. Son of a bitch, man. They couldn't show like a father-daughter movie, so you'd be like, hey, can't relate. Doesn't mean anything to me. Maybe one about moms and sons. Anything other than fathers and sons, jerks. Hate them.
Do they have any mothers?
It's not as much.
Yeah, they
really
don't.
not as much.
Yeah, it's
way
it's always
more,
the power of friendship.
Way more about dads.
Brotherly
It just so happened to be
bonds.
that they were the two that they showed back to back. Assholes. Anyway, so the game. We do Tubular every week. You're gonna get me to do another 3-hour show today, you son of a bitch.
We can postpone it till tomorrow, I guess.
You want to, or do
no,
we teased it?
Yeah, we
guess
did tease it.
teased
All right,
it.
we'll do it then. Yeah.
Lollapalooza's
this week.
We do Tubular every day, and on Thursday it's bleak.
It's Lollapalooza. I can't even say it.
I mean, I think
day one.
the Orioles are showing a Tides game on TV, but like there's just nothing. There's nothing on Thursday. So
they play Worcester.
Great. So I said to Griffin, "Hey, is there anything non-sports that I could headline the Tubular post with?" And he looked over and he was like, "Yeah, I got one for you. Lollapalooza starts."
And a new episode of Impractical Jokers.
Right, yes. And I said, well, it's so bad that might be the headline. Probably headline with the Tides game, I guess. But then I said, hey, who's the headliner? And he said, Lord. I was like, is Lord a Lollapalooza headliner? Is like, I like Lord. Of course, we know Lord isn't real. We all know that. So
pretty good.
It's actually Randy Marsh is Lord.
Whoever it is.
La la la,
pretty good.
I am Lord.
Lord.
Yeah. But That said, Griffin said, how many Lollapalooza acts do you think you could name? And I think I just started guessing like random. Is it somber? Is it like something like that?
Somber is on there, yeah.
There you go. But he said, what if we played a game, Lollapalooza act or word I just made up?
So we could do that. Or what's the other hottest thing right now?
I don't know.
The Odyssey.
So what's the
What
question?
do you know? How much do you know about the Odyssey?
I know very little about the Odyssey.
So should I name things from the Odyssey or Lollapalooza act? You want to do it that way?
Wait, so you're saying that you're going to this is a name and I'm supposed to guess if it's Odyssey or Lollapalooza?
Yeah.
I think I would be able to.
You think you could?
I think I would be able to do that. I think so. This might be better if you did the made up names, but
okay. I mean, I don't know. Well, should I? No, let's see what happens through the Odyssey.
You want to try Lollapalooza?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I did this with Luke Jones and Dominique Foxworth, where we did. Was it a second round NBA draft pick or someone playing in the World Cup? And Luke struggled. Dom did very well. Very well.
Well, Dom watches soccer, doesn't he?
He's a big soccer guy. I say he's a big soccer. He's enough of a soccer guy. He does like soccer. He didn't get them all, but he did well. He did do well in this game. In fact, Dom heard me playing it with Luke on the radio and then just texted me and said, I want to call in. Which I appreciate it about Dom. Dom's the best. Anyway, all right.
So we'll do Lollapalooza or the Odyssey.
All right, Lollapalooza or the Odyssey. And so this could be anything related to the Odyssey. It could be a place. It could be a person.
Sure.
It could be a...
Yeah. So we'll start with an easy one, I guess. Travis Scott.
That would be Lollapalooza.
Travis Scott is, of course...
And also an actor in
the Odyssey.
Yes,
he is not at Lollapalooza. He's strictly the Odyssey.
That's bullshit.
So that's not...
That.
How does that not count?
That's not.
All right, fine.
No.
All right, next one. Penelope Road.
Yeah, that's the Odyssey.
No, Penelope Road is an act in Lollapalooza.
Okay, sure it is.
Yeah,
Is it a band? Is it a...
like
if you had like a
group or
follow-up
something,
on this, if you could tell me something about Penelope Road.
No, they're Lollapalooza. That's all I can tell you.
No, that's you need to prepare the game better.
Oh,
you gotta.
I don't know that half these acts.
That's not great, but you should have done the research to be able to tell me what Penelope Road is.
They're a group, I guess.
You have no idea. It could be a rapper.
You want me to look up everything?
It just doesn't feel like it would have been a lot to have prepared this for the sake of the segment. To have been able to say
Worship.
Yeah.
Should I keep score?
I don't know, because like worship is vague. Like, do they worship a god in the Odyssey? Yeah, the Odyssey.
Worship is a band that is going to be in Lollapalooza this weekend.
Son of a bitch!
I can understand the confusion for sure. Yeah. How about Lotus Flower?
That's a band.
Lotus Flower is 100% from the Odyssey. That is a thing that a very big storyline.
Are you sure there's not also a band called Lotus Flower?
There might be. No, they're not at Lollapalooza this weekend.
Oh, damn it.
Polyphemus.
The Odyssey.
Polyphemus is the name of the Cyclops from the Odyssey. Well done.
I'm hot now. I'm hot.
Scylla and Charybdis.
1 for 4. I should be in the Orioles lineup.
And there you go. Yeah. Scylla and Charybdis.
Lollapalooza.
That's from the Odyssey. Yeah. It's the whirlpool. It's the name of the whirlpool in the six-headed monster thing that attacks Odysseus. How about I'll give you another easy one. Turnstile.
What's the bid here? What's the bid? Like, you're gonna do a bid on this one where like Turnstile's not playing Lollapalooza. It's actually you're talking about the fact that there's these.
Go with your gut.
You have to go through the Turnstile in order to go see the Odyssey. Turnstile's Lollapalooza.
It is, yes.
Yeah,
Turnstile. I just wanted to shout out. Turnstile's going to be Lollapalooza.
Yeah,
they're on Sunday. They're like the number 3, I think.
Well, who's ahead of them? They're huge.
Who's ahead of them?
We don't.
Tate McRae.
Barely.
I know. Yeah. And then I guess I could have included the XX. I don't know what they are.
I know of them, but I couldn't tell you anything about them.
So you do know that? So they're Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
That not part of the quiz here.
Okay.
How about Wonder Horse?
F off. F off. Wonder Horse. Lollapalooza.
Well done.
Hey!
Wonder Horse is
I'm kind of going against
is that Lollapalooza?
Whatever I think it is,
Yeah,
guess
is
the
that what
other
you're doing?
thing.
Okay. All right, how about Horse Girl?
Odyssey.
Horse Girl is also a Lollapalooza act.
what I thought, so I went with the Odyssey.
Beeswax.
Odyssey.
Beeswax does come up in the Odyssey.
Right,
there you go. There you go. They got it.
Totally knew that.
How about Pylos?
Who?
Pylos.
What is it? Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Pylos.
What?
Pylos. Is it from the Lollapalooza
Spell it for me.
Or the Odyssey? Pylos.
Sounds Greek. Odyssey.
It is from the Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
one of the
hot
one of the stops.
I'm
One
like
of the
5
stops.
for 8 now. Break me up.
How about Monaleo?
Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is Lollapalooza. There you go.
Yeah. I just needed to warm up a little
Okay.
bit. That's all.
The Frost Children.
Well, that could really be either one. Like
It is only one.
There's really no context clue available here. The Frost Children.
The Frost Children, yeah.
Odyssey.
No, Monaleo.
Damn it!
Monaleo is going to be a Lollapalooza. Yeah.
You said the Frost Children.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Monaleo. Frost Children. You said the Odyssey. They're also going to be a Lollapalooza.
Damn it!
Sorry, I confused myself.
Damn it!
Frost Children definitely a Lollapalooza.
Ask me at Monaleo
band.
then.
Monaleo.
That's
didn't we do Lollapalooza? Yeah, we did Monaleo.
Lollapalooza. No, I think you read the next one.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about Menelaus?
Odyssey.
John Berthel's character. Yeah. Chasing the Escaping Sun.
We do that in the Odyssey.
That's your final answer?
Yes.
They do that, yeah.
Yeah!
The Lystrogonians.
You're not keeping score. You're supposed to be keeping score at the end.
All right, let me see how
We
many
have to
you
go
got right
back
here.
and redo
That one you got wrong.
Post this later. No, you don't know.
Are we gonna
You're
post the whole
guessing.
thing?
You don't even know who you said. Yeah.
No, I know which ones I said.
Well, you're going to cut it a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm going to post it.
Yeah. You're going to edit it.
The Lystrogonians.
The funny part is going to find out this is like the second line of. It's not even just that they're like playing Lollapalooza. They're not even at the bottom of the bill. They're like on the main stage.
Some of them, yeah, definitely.
Odyssey.
The Lystrogonians, yes, they're the giants from the Odyssey. Yeah, you're getting pretty good. Sinon.
Lollapalooza.
No, Sinon's in the Odyssey.
Now, I'm also trying to go with your patterns. I'm trying to figure out.
I'm trying to
figure out if you've got patterns here.
Peace Control.
Lollapalooza.
That is Lollapalooza?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
The Bends.
That's Lollapalooza.
Yeah, you know that band?
I'm familiar with that.
Okay. The Bends is Lollapalooza, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't name a song. I couldn't tell you what they are or what kind of
Maybe
music
that's
they
what
are.
I should have made that the
Yeah, no chance. Zero. I couldn't. I don't know that I could tell you what the headliners do. We just said the XX is headlining, and we all know. I know it exists, but can I tell you if they do techno music or if they do, pop punk? I have no clue.
What's the XX do?
I don't know. Genuinely, no
Rock
idea.
band.
Sure they are, but what is rock anymore?
English indie rock band from Wandsworth, London.
That means they could sound like anything. I mean, like I'm sure if you looked up the 1975, that's what they would say the 1975 is, and they're a pop act.
Agamemnon.
Odyssey.
That is the Odyssey.
Yeah. I'm good now. I'm hot.
Omnom.
Odyssey.
That is Lollapalooza.
Damn it. Every time I get confident.
Water from Your Eyes.
Odyssey.
That is Lollapalooza.
Damn it. More?
You were getting warm, and then Mother.
Lollapalooza.
That is Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
There you go. New Constellations.
Lollapalooza.
That is Lollapalooza as well. Next of Kin.
Relevant somehow to the Odyssey.
No, they're performing at Lollapalooza. How about Sirens?
Lollapalooza.
Nope, that's the Odyssey.
God damn it.
Argus the dog.
Odyssey.
That is he's the dog from the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Samantha Morton.
An actress in the Odyssey.
Yeah, she is an actress.
Yeah.
There you go. How about Apollo's Island?
Lollapalooza.
No, that is
Son of a
that is
bitch.
the Odyssey.
I guess Apollo is a god. I should have thought about that, but it kind of they has a band. And it sounds like the name of a band, right?
Yeah, it does. It'd be a good name for a band, probably. How about Eurylochus?
That's the Odyssey.
That is the Odyssey.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
Odyssey. I actually knew that one.
Okay.
It's the first one I think I knew.
You knew that one? Who's Eurylochus?
I have no idea, but I've
just
heard
knew?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's Odysseus' his right-hand man.
If you say so.
He's his first mate, if you will. Geese.
Well, I know geese.
Okay, you do know geese?
Yeah, they're terrible. Not a fan.
My friend loves geese for some reason.
A lot of people love
I'm
geese
like,
because they like
what?
stuff that's just noise. It's just noise. It's not music. It's noise. But they swear by it, man. God, people love that bad band.
Well, big weekend for him at Lollapalooza. Squirrel Flower.
It's not him. It's a band.
Well, the
Geese is a band.
dude.
They're a band.
Well, he's the one dude that sings the whole time.
But there's one. Yeah,
I don't
there's
know
a
what his name
lead
is.
singer of Geese.
I thought his
yes.
name was Geese.
No, the band. It's a band.
I thought his name was Geese. And he's like dating somebody too.
Is he?
Yeah.
Probably is. They all are. God, who would somebody like that date? I'm trying to
He's
think
dating, and you want to guess?
Shailene Woodley.
No.
An actress?
She's a singer.
A singer.
Not performing at Lollapalooza.
Not performing alone. Addison Rae.
No.
I don't know. Who is it?
Oh, his name's Cameron Winter.
Yeah.
Is the front.
Who is it?
Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. Big fan. Is she playing at Lollapalooza?
She's not.
All right, we got to wrap this up.
I got plenty more. What did I say? Squirrel Flower.
Lollapalooza.
That is Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
There you go. Circe.
Odyssey.
That is the Odyssey.
Yeah.
How about House of Atreus?
Odyssey.
That is the Odyssey as well. Yeah. Telemachus.
The Odyssey.
It's probably because I'm saying them. If I was struggling with how to say them, then you would think they're big.
Oh,
It's
if you're like
probably- I'm saying
Telemachus?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Antinous.
Lollapalooza.
No, he's. That's
you were
Robert.
just trying to.
Yeah.
You were trying to stay on it until I missed one. I should have caught on to your act.
That was that's Robert Pattinson's character.
Right.
How about the let's go Calypso?
Odyssey.
That is the Odyssey. Yeah. Pearly Drops.
Lollapalooza.
That's Lollapalooza. Yeah. The Creakers.
Lollapalooza.
That is Lollapalooza as well. Dragonette.
Also Lollapalooza.
That is also Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
How about The Story So Far?
That's definitely Lollapalooza. I know them. That's
You
the
know-
second act.
that's
you've
cheating.
made. Yeah, that's the second one that I've.
John Summit.
Is the Odyssey.
No, John Summit is one of the headliners alongside Lord on Thursday.
Sure he is, of course. Oh, that's how I've heard it. I knew I had heard it before, and I thought the only way that I could have heard it before is if it was one of the Christopher Nolan interviews that I had watched. As it turns out, it's because you were talking about who the headliners were for Lollapalooza. That's how I heard it before. Damn it.
Let's do Emily Wilson.
Odyssey.
That is the Odyssey. She apparently translated it at some point. She's writ a scathing review of the Odyssey.
Oh.
Worst movie ever made.
Well, I don't know how it's going to survive.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to how it will ever recover from Emily Wilson's review.
Reardon.
Odyssey.
No, that's Lollapalooza.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still think I've done pretty well.
Yeah, you've done Helios's Cattle.
Odyssey.
That is the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Blind Tiresias.
Odyssey.
That's also the Odyssey. Yeah. All right, you're getting pretty good. Zeus's Law.
This feels like I'm sticking with the Odyssey though.
That is
Yeah,
that
you
is a
wanted.
big point
You
in the
thought.
Odyssey.
Thought it was too obvious. It was going to throw me off, and so I was going to guess Lollapalooza.
Die Spitz.
Odyssey.
That's Lollapalooza.
Damn. All right.
I think I've hit.
Hey.
Yeah, I think I've hit the end.
pretty
Yeah,
well.
you did all right.
I think
you
I
did all right. I think
a lot
you did better than
most 40. Well, actually, most 43-year-old man have probably seen the Odyssey, so that's incorrect. Maybe I'll base it off of
I think
that.
I got pretty much all of them.
Two things that are total blind spots for me. Complete and total blind spots.
Finn Wolfhard
is the actor. I'm familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's he's playing Lollapalooza.
He is playing Lollapalooza. Doing what? I don't know.
God knows.
Just reading lines from Stranger Things,
Yeah,
I guess.
100%.
Evening Elephants.
Stop. What are we doing? Lollapalooza.
I got a couple more I realized. Yeah, Lollapalooza. Yeah.
Stop it. We can't do this for another hour.
We could.
We've lost people.
Eumaeus.
Odyssey.
That is Odyssey.
Yeah.
All right, you know your Odyssey. You want me to start just going?
No, I just want to call it. That was good. You accomplished what you wanted to accomplish there. It was good. It was good.
Eating Teeth.
Odyssey.
That's a fake name. That's a fake name. That has nothing to do with either.
Dick.
All right, I guess we can move on.
What a bad person. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by County Sports Zone. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, and buyatoyota.com for everything you need to know about high school sports here in the state of Maryland. Oh, really quickly, one sports question last night at trivia. Another second place finish. Been a struggle recently. Yeah. Movie guy nearly effed up the final question. In fact, I have to be the new movie guy now.
Wow.
The final question.
You haven't even seen The Odyssey.
I pulled it out of my ass at the last second when he had basically given up. There's only one surname for shared by two different Best Actor winners all time.
There's one surname
shared by two different Best Actor winners. Pulled it out of my ass. In fact, in my head, I had said it and said, no, I can only think of one. I can't think of another.
And you bested the movie guy with?
Yep, he didn't have it.
Wow.
It was tricky. I threw a couple out there as possibilities.
I know. I'm like, Washington? I don't know. I
hear it. It was one of the,
Denzel's one, but I can't think of another Washington.
Best Actor winners with common names is what we're trying to come up with, yes.
Don't think it's Sandler.
No, I don't think that Texas Rangers broadcaster Jared Sandler ever won Best Actor, and we know obviously that Adam Sandler did not.
I just wanted to confirm Adam Sandler didn't. Maybe he should, but Click maybe.
What
I don't know.
Movie that was.
I don't know.
So bad.
I don't think it's Washington. I know. Then should I just go around and just guess a common name? But then I can't. But I should probably at least know one of them.
Oh, we did a bad.
I'd probably guess.
I swear
Washington.
To God, we thought we had it
because I don't think I can. I don't think I can get it.
This is how stupid we are. Somehow we convinced ourselves that Jimmy Stewart was Jimmy Smith. And so we're like, oh, Smith, Jimmy and Will, obviously. And then I had to literally, again, I had to grab the movie guy and be like, dude, it's Jimmy Stewart. What are you doing?
So is it Stewart?
It's not Stewart.
I don't know.
I was convinced that this was easy at first. Within the first couple seconds, I'm like, oh, dude, this is easy.
Is one of them really recent or?
One of them is very. Very within this century, this.
Who are the recent Best Actor?
But not very
this
recent.
Century. Okay,
not very recent. I definitely had to. I said, this is easy.
Right, is Will Smith? I don't think Will Smith's won it.
He has.
He
won
has?
the year he did the slap.
Oh,
remember,
he won that year?
Yes, he came 5 minutes later. They announced him as Best Actor.
So it's not Will Smith. It's not Smith.
It's not Smith. I thought it was Affleck, right? So I was like, oh, dude, Casey and Ben, because we knew that Casey won for the
Manchester by the Sea,
right? But Ben Affleck has never won Best Actor.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. I was like, what was
he
Ben
won for Argo for Best Picture because he was the director. And he won Best Screenplay for Good Will Hunting, but never won Best Actor.
Is there another Damon then? Matt Damon?
I don't know if Matt Damon's ever won Best Actor.
Did he win for Martian?
The answer pulled out of my ass because I literally thought about.
Have you seen the movie?
I've seen Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, it's Hoffman.
And so I literally said in my, I'm like, Dustin Hoffman, but there's not another Hoffman, right? And he just kept going.
Jeff Hoffman? Yeah.
And then I came back and was like, oh my God, Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I couldn't even have told you what the movie was that he won for. It was Capote. It was what he won for. But it was just like, dude, that has to be it. And our movie guy was like, yes, that's it. So we got it, but we only finished in second place. The sports question, very difficult.
Oh, great.
The women's heptathlon consists of 7 track and field events. The 3 running events are the 100-meter hurdles, the 200-meter sprint, and the 800-meter run. Name the 4 non-running events. I did go 4 for 4 for the record.
Hurdles, sprints, 800-meter.
You got those 3. It's the other 4. The non-running events.
Do I need to have distance for each of one? Or
Name
one
the
of them?
non-running events.
Swimming's going to be one.
All right, swimming.
Cycling.
Yep.
Swimming, cycling. Is it would it be archery or shooting or something? That's not a final answer, but
I'm
kind of brainstorming here. Maybe
you got swimming.
Yeah, swimming, cycling. I'm locking those in. Okay, even if they're wrong, I agree with the process.
All right.
Track and field. Well, those are the only track and field. Well, you gave me the track and field.
Yeah, read the question one more time.
Yeah, read the question.
The women's heptathlon consists of 7 track and field events. The 3 running events are the 100-meter hurdles, the 200-meter sprint, and the 800-meter run.
So
Name
so wait.
the 4 non-running events.
Okay, so are they're strictly track and field? Am I
Read the
way off
question
here?
one more time because you've already locked in 2 of your answers.
No, I can unlock them.
You literally.
I can unlock
said
them.
they're
I didn't throw the key.
You locked them in.
I didn't throw the key away.
They were locked.
I still have the key.
And cycling. And again, the question was.
All right, then I'll go triple jump.
The women's heptathlon consists of 7
Yeah, but it's an
track and field events.
It's an athlon.
And Griffin said swimming and cycling.
Why? It's an athlon.
Famous track and field events. He said, I'm locking them in even if they're wrong because the process was right. Just want to remind everybody of how that played out.
All right, I'll go. I can't do 3 jumps. Like triple jump, high jump. No reason to do the long jump at that point. Maybe there is. So would they be throwing the discus and?
Well, you've already got 2 locked in. So
No, those are unlocked.
Keep saying
I can shuffle them out if
they're
I want.
locked. You can't unlock them. You lock those. We're running out of time. We ran out of time 30 minutes ago.
Discus throw. So, yeah, because there wouldn't be anything else running. There wouldn't be anything else on the track.
I did say, name the 4 non-running events.
So I got 2 jumps.
I know you're struggling with this question.
I don't want to say long jump. Maybe I will
Non-running.
just because maybe I'll cover all the jumps. All right, I'll do discus throw, long jump, triple jump, high jump. No, pole vault. Should I do pole vault? Should I?
I don't know.
All right, I won't do pole vault. Those are the
So
4.
what are your official answers?
The jumps?
Swimming, cycling,
Triple jump.
jumping.
Triple jump, high jump, long jump, discus throw.
You did get 2 out of 4.
See?
You might not have had you gone with swimming and cycling, but you got 2 out of the 4. Not the triple jump.
Not the triple jump.
Not the discus.
Not the discus.
I actually did go 4 for 4, and I was just literally thinking of what have I watched female athletes do in the Olympics before. And so I
Is
knew
that one where they tossed like that?
the hammer throw.
Yeah, hammer
they
throw.
did not do the hammer throw. I'd never seen them do the hammer throw, and I'd never seen them do the discus. But what I had seen them do definitively, and I believe Brock Lesnar's daughter does it, is the shot put. They definitely do the shot put.
They're going to say like javelin or something.
The javelin.
That's the other
is
one?
The other one. Shot put and javelin. I had definitely seen them do. What's funny is I thought about it afterwards. And
When
I'm
I think of athlon, I think of distance
like,
stuff.
and like somehow after I got all 4 right, I was like, I could have sworn I've seen women do the pole vault. Have they really not? Did they really not do the pole vault? Like, because you obviously had to find 3 that men do, because the men do the decathlon. I know this was a difficulty for you because when you heard athlon, you just thought triathlon.
Or biathlon.
Men do the decathlon, so you had to figure out what events do men do that women don't do, and that was where I was struggling with, is trying to figure those out. And I figured out, I'm like, I've literally never seen the women throw the discus in my life. And I figured out the hammer was one that could take off the list as well pretty quickly, but I was struggling with what else could come off the list. But yeah, that was a difficult one. That was a toughie. Toughie. Your boy, 4 for 4. So the sports guy went 4 for 4. The movie guy needed to be bailed out by the sports guy. Just putting that out there for the record. What you got? It's got to be quick again. I know you said you had a long one.
I do have a long one, but I guess I'll save it again. I'll push it
Yep.
again.
Keep pushing.
This one still not going to be a hard one, but we have yesterday the Marlins finally snapped their long losing streak. I think they had lost.
Oh, they won
12.
last night? They were
did.
losing when
walk off thanks to Griff Conine.
Oh, Jeff Conine's son.
Yeah. So they become the 5th father-son duo to hit a walk-off for the same team, the Conines. Griff and Jeff
5th
Conine?
father-son duo to hit a walk-off for the same team.
Yes.
All right, let's go with the Bonds.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
I'm going to guess that Bobby let that duo down. I'm going to guess it wasn't Barry. The Griffies.
The Griffies are on the list, yes. 1976 senior, and then in 2001, Ken Griffey Jr. finally hit a walk-off for the Reds.
Now you're thinking of fathers and sons, but they haven't played for the same team. Like the Guerreros didn't play for the same team. The Bichettes have not played for the same team. The Biggios have not played for the same team. How about the Alous?
The Alous are on this list.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Felipe Alou, a walk-off in 1958. And then Moises Alou, finally in 2006.
Finally? Okay.
A long time. It's the longest gap years-wise.
Okay, all right, I'll give
That's
you
what
that.
I mean.
Man.
Got the Conines, got the Griffies, got the Alous. 2 others.
Wow, this is tougher than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to... the Alomars.
No.
I actually don't know who Sandy Alomar Sr. played for, so wow, this is good, man. Billy Wagner was a pitcher, so it's probably not the Wagners.
Is it?
I don't think so.
It's not the Wagners.
He was a reliever, too, so it makes it even less likely.
Well, maybe they got into like the 18th inning, just needed a guy to say, hey, go swing the bat. Not the Wagners, though.
Oh my God. How about... My God, man, I am...
There's one more obvious one.
There's one more obvious one.
I mean, at least, like the name is very...
The name...
is very famous.
Is very famous.
The other one's a bit tougher.
Oh, good.
So...
The Boones?
Not the Boones.
The Bells?
Not the Bells.
I don't know. Why am I struggling so much with this? I mean, I don't think Tony Gwynn Jr. ever... Tony Gwynn Jr.
The Gwynns,
really?
yes. Tony Gwynn
he
Sr.
just had such
and
a
Jr.
short career that, like, it's just...
he ended up in both with San Diego.
I know that he played in San Diego, but his career was so short that it's hard to, like, fathom him having hit a walk-off home run.
Well, there's the Gwynns, and then the other one with the Cubs. One is a Cubs Hall of Famer. Dad is a Cubs Hall of Famer. And then a son was only one of the Cubs.
Sandberg?
Not Sandberg. They both played catcher. I don't know how well. I feel like you would know the son better.
Know the son better than the dad.
Son was actually the 39th pick in the 1987 MLB draft.
Oh.
With the Orioles. Signed by the Orioles. Selected by the Orioles.
Signed by the Orioles, was a catcher. Caught for the Cubs. Was he ever an Oriole?
Drafted? No. He was drafted by the Orioles, and then he played 9 years for the Mets.
Drafted by the Orioles, played 9 years for the Mets.
2 years with the Dodgers, 2 years with the Cubs.
2 years with the Dodgers, 2 years with the Cubs.
Did have 2 All-Star seasons with the Mets.
Had 2 All-Star seasons with the Mets.
96 and 97.
Hundley?
Hundley, yes.
I didn't even know that his dad was a baseball player.
Todd Hundley, son of Randy Hundley.
I had no idea. Oh, Randy Hundley. I guess son of a bitch, I never literally...
Yeah.
I made the Hendersons brothers, and I never considered a relationship between the Hundleys. That's wild.
Yeah.
All right. I learned something today. Look at that. Let's get tubular before we have to go to... I got to go to Merriweather tonight to see Muse. Yeah.
Okay.
Not at Lollapalooza.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right. It's actually more complicated than you're presenting it. The Orioles didn't actually draft Todd Hundley because I was also 8 years old when I learned that. The way that it used to work is the compensatory picks, you made them for the team that signed one of your players. So the Mets made the pick.
It's like the NBA thing?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Where the guy puts on the Hawks
right.
hat, where
awkward,
Luka Doncic puts on a
on the
Hawks hat.
screen, it says who the team that he's really going to be with, but he's wearing a cap from a team that he's never going to be with. Yeah, the NBA has needed to figure that out for some time. So the Orioles signed Ray Knight, and that was the compensatory pick with Todd Hundley. So there we go. That's the answer to that. Now,
it's dumb.
I got you. Now, here's coming up tubular-wise this evening. The Orioles do indeed continue their series in Detroit. Looked for a series victory. Hopefully you get the good Dean Kramer as he goes against Troy Melton.
We're due for good Dean Kramer.
Does feel that way. 6:40 on Masson. That's basically it. The tennis tournament does continue down in D.C. Anything non-sports-wise?
Season 6 premiere. Beat Shazam on Fox.
So nothing?
That coming right after a new episode of Kitchen Nightmares.
So nothing.
And then also the final reunion of In the City on Bravo.
All right, so nothing. Thanks today to Andrew Brandt.
I just gave you a bunch of good
Thanks
stuff. America's Got Talent.
Right. Thanks also to Bob Nightengale. We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the...
Who's on tonight? Stavi's somewhere. Yeah, Stavi and Tom Holland are on Seth Meyers.
Absolutely. I would, of course, go to that.
Tom Holland.
Is he in the Odyssey?
He is in the Odyssey.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right. I did not know that.
He's Odysseus' son.
He and John Bernthal just doing buddy cop pictures together now. That's just what they are.
He plays Telemachus.
Sure. Who not at Lollapalooza.
Yeah,
we learned that earlier. Stavi, I think they announced September 8th.
Yeah, for the Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah.
For what he recorded here at the Lyric a couple weekends ago.
See if you use my taping.
I think they'll be piecing it together.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think that's the way that typically works.
How about Jacob Batalon and Keke Palmer?
I don't remember who Jacob Batalon is.
He's in Spider-Man. He's Spider-Man's best friend.
Oh, the big dude?
Yeah. Ned.
Okay.
Ned.
Probably not, but I like them both just fine. I just don't think I would. Like if somebody,
I think Keke Palmer could probably
gave me, she can sing.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if somebody gave me tickets, I would maybe go. But like, I don't think I would buy tickets to that tour. I think that'd be the way it would go. Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow on the program,
all our Wednesday stuff.
Hopefully we won't go until 3:00 in the afternoon. That'll be our goal.
We want not to let today either.
Thanks to everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors.
Sometimes we start at 3:00 in the afternoon.
That is true. Including Live Casino and Hotel, the Baltimore Orioles, Costas Inn, Baltimore area Highs Dairy Stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, the Maryland Department of Health, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Tuesday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.